Good afternoon and welcome to the VFL live on KO Sports. It's a battle of second against third today as unbeaten Footscray put their record to the test away to the Casey Demons at a beautifully sunny Casey Fields. Teo Pellizzeri is my name. Joining me in commentary for this one on KO is AFLW star Ellie Blackburn. Ellie, we're really looking forward to this one.
We are looking forward to this one. A top-of-the-table clash today at a relatively good Casey Fields for a change. I don't want to jinx it for the guys out there running around today, but it's normally blowing a gale, but it's pretty good conditions today so far.
And hello to all our viewers, especially Demons fans, of course. A bit of COVID travel chaos going on with the seniors at the moment, so we hope that you're getting your footy fix by enjoying the Casey Demons today, and who knows when your seniors able to play. There are the Casey Demons, the home side, and out of the selected squad as we take a look at their team today go Tom McCaffrey, Mitch Lewis, Andrew Courtney and Miles Shepherd. So no late inclusions, just the four emergencies dropping out, and you can see the team there. Nathan Jones, of course, the veteran head, and also Neville Jetta. So 450 games of AFL experience right there just between those two, and then a number of recent draftees who are yet to make their senior debut. Obviously very difficult in a strong Melbourne season like this, so we'll keep an eye on the likes of Bailey Laurie and Fraser Rosman today, Kai de Clace as well. Plenty of mature age and young emerging talent in this Casey Demons team that D's fans of the AFL side will be keen to keep an eye on. Footscray, no late inclusions for them either, just the four players dropping out. Hayden Crozier, Patrick Lipinski, Liam Nash and Chance Daltrey won't be suiting up today, and it means that we will see Cooper Craig Peters in the VFL for the first time this season, and Latham Vandermeer, who has not played since April 23 in the AFL due to a knee injury. He makes his comeback to competitive footy today. He has played a scratch match on the way back to this appearance, but Bulldogs fans will be thrilled to know that Latham Vandermeer is back in the twos at least, and how long and how impressive a case can he press to try and return to that Bulldogs team that is very much aiming for the premiership this season. So, Ellie, two very strong teams, two very strong midfields, lots of quality all over the ground. I know that as we look at the ladder there, they have huge percentages reflecting what good seasons they've had. Do you have an inkling one way or another as to who might win this afternoon, or is it really a coin flip for these two?
I think it is a coin flip for these two. I think they're both really strong teams, and we've seen that throughout the season to start off with. Obviously, Casey's got a better percentage than what Footscray do, so the reason for that is their defensive pressure down back. They're probably stopping teams a bit more from scoring and preventing them from scoring a bit more than what Footscray is, whereas Footscray likes to turn on the jets and kick the goals. So it'll be an interesting contest today. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one plays out for us.
Last time Footscray played in the VFL, they had to come from the clouds 6 goals down at three-quarter time, and they did so to roll Sydney. Casey, by contrast, 7-1, and that one defeat was by a solitary point to GWS. So both these teams, they may be aware that this morning's game between Southport and Gold Coast was abandoned during the first quarter due to the snap lockdown that's coming in Queensland from 4 p.m. this afternoon. So it means that Southport sit on top of the league, having played a number of extra games. However, that match was abandoned with barely a couple of goals total on the board during the first term today. So hopefully not too disruptive to the VFL seasons of both of those clubs, and for the VFL in general, which has had to ride the bumps. Of course, it's a bumper weekend of footy in the VFL this weekend, having lost the last 3 weekends to the Victorian lockdown. Footscray in their change strip today, the white, and Casey Demons in the home red and blue, as is customary. Near perfect conditions. Wind nowhere near as oppressive as it can be for Casey Fields, and hopefully that leads to a very high standard of football between two very good teams, and no spectators today due to Victorian government regulations. So if you are a VFL regular that loves coming through the turnstiles, we hope you're enjoying the KO coverage, and we're looking forward to 4 excellent quarters of action this afternoon. So all in readiness then. And it's going to be Casey attacking the right of your screens in the first quarter. And watching the warm-ups, Ellie, we suspected that might have the slight wind advantage.
Yeah, it is. It's blowing across the ground a little bit. You'll see the ball sort of on this closest side be able to come back into the post if they aim towards the left side a little bit. So a little bit of a breeze coming about here at Casey. So we'll look out for that throughout the game.
So first ruck duel of the day. Jordan Sweet in for the Bulldogs. Jack Bell for the Casey Demons. And it's Bell who tries to rove his own tap as we get underway. And Footscray get the first clearance as Ruben William charges through. Did it go 15? The umpire didn't blow the whistle. So Ruben William has to shuffle it on quickly. Attempted mark over the back. And almost Bedendo coming away with a 2-grabber. Instead it goes to ground level. And the first inside 50 of the afternoon is ever so slightly Footscray's way. And the ball up right at the top of the arc. Sweet. Now he tries to shark his own tap. Ball is knocked away. Riley West went without. And now McNeil charging, laying a big tackle. Nathan Jones is there for the D's, just uses the upper body strength to shuffle the ball out to the outer side wing. And that's where Corey Stockdale gets his first touch, but he can't advance the ball very far. Tight in the clinches at the moment, and a real hot footy. Jones had it and lost it, and so the Bulldogs prevail. And now West sweeping forward, rides one tackle and takes a bounce, looking to drive it inside forward 50. He's got a man, Lewis Young, one out, and even though he was toppling over, he still steadied from his knees. And Lewis Young will turn around and line up for the first goal of the day.
That was just great composure then by Riley West. The ability to just weigh up the situation. He knew he had time and space, looked at his opponent and thought, you know what, I can take you on here. And just a great kick out into space here for Lewis Young and gives Footscray the first opportunity to score today.
Starting forward, he hasn't kicked a goal in his 5 VFL games this season. So let's see what he's like. He hasn't kicked it behind either. So for his first set shot of the VFL season, he's pushed it wide left. And a gettable chance goes begging for Footscray. However, they open the scoring 100 seconds into the action. 1 behind 1 point. Casey yet to score. And the long kick out to the wing. Bailey van der Heuvel, the birthday boy, turning 23 today. His handball can't be grabbed by a teammate, and it will be a boundary throw-in. Right under the main stand here at Casey Fields. Boundary throw in then. Bell and Sweet resume their duel. Ball beat both ruckmen, just bounced all the way to the back. Big smothered kick. Dan Orgill was denied, and so the D's prevail. Oscar Baker high to the forward flank. Fraser Rosman first to the ball. Looked as though he was apprehensive to take possession, though. Preferred the boundary line, as he had Austin Hodge right on his hammer, and so he sees it over the line. Rosman taken with pick 34 in the 2020 National Draft out of the Sandringham Dragons, but yet to make his AFL debut. Certainly a player that D's fans will be keeping a close eye on as his first year in the system progresses. Jones received the quick-fire handball from Munro, but his quick was smothered, and so now a second attempt inside forward 50 from Baker. And Buku Karmas at the back has done well to outpoint his man Corey Ellison and take a mark on the last line of defence. He looks for Ruben William, and he marks under some duress from Jay Lockhart, who certainly made him earn it. And our ground-level camera here on KO Sports has got a perfect view from behind the kick. Down in the forward pocket at the right of your screens. Ruben William just kicks to a massive pack of players, including the ruckman. Sullivan, first hands, slung in the tackle, and was that high? Play continues. Sullivan goes back in and grabs his own ball. Kavara, a worm burner. Very difficult for Young. Second time today he's gone to his knees. This time he's not able to make it work like his earlier mark. So Casey ripped the possession away, and it was Munro winning the hard ball. Now Nate Jones has a corridor of opportunity to kick it long to the square. Is there a shepherd there for him? It bounces through. All clear for a goal, and even though there are protests on the line, credit Corey Ellison, he did enough to distract his Bulldogs opponent, and Nate Jones puts through the first goal of the afternoon.
Yeah, it was just a really good kick there, using the breeze to his advantage, Nathan Jones, but the handball out from Munro just to open up that pack there. There was a number of Bulldogs players sort of surrounding that sort of inner circle there, so to get it that 10 metres away, and a great delivery there by Nathan Jones, and a close one on the line, but goal umpires called it through for a goal, so Casey kicks the first one.
Even though there were protests on the goal line, umpire and goal umpire were in alignment, And the class and experience of Nathan Jones didn't need much of an opportunity to slot it through from the top of 50. Another hard possession here. Munro inside the arc. Ball bounces off the chest initially and a great chase down tackle coming. No reward for the tackler. Play continues. And at the top of 50, it's going to be a ball up, and even the bench, there's no crowd, but the bench were shouting ball there. The umpire didn't heed their call. Ball up then, real wrestle, sweet, big spike of the ball to find 15 metres, and it's booted forward by Hayes, bouncing into a pack of players. Who's got the clean hands coming out the back, though? Great tackle laid by Vandermeer. First sighting of him today on his return to competitive footy, and the umpire says it will be a ball up. And at the bottom of the pack, Daniel Turner gets a pat on the back of the head for riding that very tough tackle. Wind playing a bit of havoc with that ball up. Bell, Riley West extracted it nicely. Booted forward inside forward 50 by Ewan McPherson. And at full back, it's composed defending on the last line for Casey to turn out of trouble and get the ball to the outer side wing. Let's see if they can build. Bedford was the outlet, and so now they keep it moving. Out in front of Ellison, he takes the mark. They've got a loose man inside forward 50 in George Gray if he's quick enough. Casey using the interchange cleverly. Long kick, trying to find Gray. He was hanging out the back of the pack. Instead, Footscray have got defensive numbers to repel. And a steadying mark taken by Jesse Glass-McCasker at the top of defensive 50 in the pocket. And now he goes into the corridor. Really dangerous kick. Sold Sweet into trouble. Lucky West was right there to help out. And that little chip and charge is going to gift possession straight back to the Demons. And it's snapped through for a goal. Oscar Baker with a little gift, and I'm really not sure what Footscray were thinking coming out of defence there, because they go to 2 straight 12. Footscray one behind, and I think Hayes would love that kick back.
I think he would too. I think it was just that switch kick there probably didn't go to the advantage that they would have liked there, and Hayes on his left just didn't quite hit it nicely there, but Baker was there to scoop up for Casey Demons there. It was just a bit sloppy coming out of defence there by Footscray. See if they can tidy that up moving throughout the game.
It was a confusing kick, almost like he looked up and just flat out kicked it to the wrong man, and so he tried to pull his kick and correct course at the last moment, and instead just offered up a little tumbling ball into the hands of Baker. And round the corner, Oscar Baker kicks just his second goal of the VFL season. And so we know that Footscray can come from anywhere to win at any time, so they won't be too perturbed about giving up the first 2 goals of the day. I'm sure Casey, however, will be thrilled that they are the ones who have made the fast start here. 7.5 minutes in.
And there is that slight breeze advantage here, so you'd think from Casey's end they want to try and get as much goals on the board as early as possible and make the most of the slight breeze that is here at Casey today.
You can see Bulldogs players hunting the ball very effectively. Kavara with an intercept. Bell went back in. And again, another intercept. Tumbling ball inside forward 50. Spoiled away from Ruben William. And now the kick. We've got a runner who's got to quickly get out of the zone, lest he concede a free kick. And it means that Bedford is away for Casey. He's got options here. Nice little sidestep. Just shuffled past his man Drummond and said, see you later. High ball inside forward 50. Casey have got the numbers. Great hustle defence. Oh, the umpire says there's a push. And so it will be a shot for goal for Kai de Clace, even though some desperate last-ditch defending. De Clace just plays on, round the corner, puts it through. Not wasting any time at all. And Kai de Clace, the mature age Demons recruit, who's made his name in local footy and then the VFL, continues to build his resume, popping through his first, and now the fast start is well and truly on 3 straight to a behind.
Yeah, that was just great composure there by Bedford. He just weighed up the situation perfectly. He didn't do that long kick straight into the 50. There was one-on-ones down the ground, and sort of saw the free player sneaking in at the back of the 50, and that's where we saw the sidestep and the change of direction here that came in, and it was a great kick inside 50, and another goal to Casey here. It's Footscray obviously don't want to let him get out too early and too big of a lead too early, so we'll see what they do here to counteract Casey's movements.
8th goal of the season for Kai de Clace, going at almost a goal a game. It's his 9th appearance of the season today, and it's a ball up secondary stoppage here and a little bit of tussling. McComb won't be taking a backward step in there for Footscray's midfield. Ryan Sparks is standing him in this first quarter. Attempted clearance for Casey. Hayes wrapped up, and even though the ball cleared 10 metres, it's going to be effectively a third stoppage from this centre bounce. Who can emerge from the tussle then? Sullivan put his head down and burrowed through, but he was wrapped up by Demons' opponents straight away, and you can hear a bit of hooting and hollering in there because the D's like that tackle. That was a tough one on Sullivan, but he bounces straight back to his feet. Fourth time lucky then. Can someone break it out of the centre square? It's a hot footy in there at the moment, and Sullivan once again is putting his head over the ball, and this time it's the ruckman Bell. 5 consecutive stoppages then. Can we get out of the holding pattern? The ruckman tussle. Sweet gets the tap straight down into a sea of legs. Look at Munro. Did very well to get it to Baker. And now the chain of handballs is on. DeClace got one. Trying to turn Provider. And he spots up the lead inside forward 50. Very nicely done. And Mitch White will turn around and kick for goal. And this would be 4 in a row for the Casey Demons.
Wow, what some work in the guts of a contest there by Munro. He's such a good contested football player. He loves winning that inside footy and getting it out to his runners, and just great footy here to start off with by Casey. They're being really composed and making really smart decisions. So
Mitch White, left-footed kick, and is he able to steer it on the breeze? Yes, he is. Inside the right-hand post it goes, and this pristine start from the Casey Demons continues as White puts through his 10th goal of the VFL season to make it 4 straight 24 to just 1 behind.
Yeah, it's a real hot start here by Casey, isn't it? As we see the replay here, Munro to Baker, and just a nice kick inside 50, not blazing away, giving their forwards every opportunity, and White to go back, use the wind to his advantage. We see he popped it out a little bit, and it came back with the breeze, and geez, he loved it off the boot.
Well, that's home ground advantage right then and there. Of course, White, long-time VFL servant of Casey and Melbourne. 4 AFL games, of course, but the last of those was all the way back in 2017. So he's just been a real VFL warhorse ever since, and we're going to have a secondary bounce again. How many stoppages until we get a clearance this time, Ellie?
Well, we're not too sure. There've been a couple in a row, haven't they? So just seeing what both oppositions or both teams are doing at the moment. They're trying to counteract each other. Seems that a lot of these stoppages, Footscray getting their hands on it first, but then when the breakaway stoppages are happening here, it's coming from Casey at the moment.
Well, this time it's Kavara who extracts the ball. Spoil at the edge of the centre square. Now chain of handballs, bit of a miss there from McNeil, and so the D's can repel. Not very far though. Drummond takes possession, quickly spins onto his right foot. Bit of a blind kick though, and it's intercepted by Nathan Jones. And he will look to the outer side wing, almost smell it off the boot. He's able to get it away in the end. DeClace made a good wide lead for him. And so he will survey the options if he's got the wind at his back here, and the little dummy bulk to buy 10 metres. He can send it inside 50 if he wants, but he defers left instead. And now we see the kick to the hot spot. Buku Kama sets himself and got first hands on the ball. Are there crummers there for either team? There aren't. It's going to be wrapped up in another pack, and it'll be a stoppage inside forward 50. Now we get to really see for the first time today whether the Bulldogs can maybe go end to end and use a bit of open field to their advantage. Of course, if there's a boundary throw-in, 2 sets of players will have to go and run into the opposite attacking 50. But ball ups, you can set up the full ground zone as you please. And the umpire is going to ping Bell here for holding the ball. And Kavara says, that's my free. And he's quick to get it off to Hayes. And Footscray, they're going to kick it into the traffic on the outer side wing. And that's where Casey have got the numbers. Well read by Turner, steered it into the middle, the corridor kick. And this one, not quite as pinpoint, but it's going to be made to work. A little bit of backtracking done, and then knocked off his kick there. Very good defending from the front by the Bulldogs. You've got to give credit to the man there, Glass McCasker, for forcing the kicking error, and then this potential turnover. Baker has recovered here for Casey, though, and a chain of handballs will get him away right through the middle of the ground. Look at this. He's finding a burst of acceleration. 2 bounces now. Shovels the handball, got a little bit excited, and Hayes comes through to intercept. And now it's Footscray's turn to repel. Tate short with a quick 1-2, and Hayes looked like he shanked it off the boot, but that actually turned out to be absolutely perfect.
It did. It did.
He knows what he's doing. So Jesse Glass McCasker called to play on. and he has to go backwards, and that went 15.01 metres to Tate Short. Footscray just trying to control the footy. And now it's a team that's adjusting to no longer having Jamari Ugle-Hagan, of course. He played the first half of the season in the VFL, but he's now up in the AFL, so it's a different-looking Footscray forward line. And they're not able to find a marking target here. Glass McCasker is outpointed under the fall of the ball. So from the top of defensive 50, Turner kicks it long and high. And that's good hands from Ellison. Just read it better in the air against Buku Kamas. Long, wiry forward. He kicks it inside forward 50. Big spoil coming through. And it'll hit the boundary line and be thrown in. And the spoil coming from Tate Short there. But it was a very short-lived attacking attempt there from Footscray to go inside their forward 50.
Yeah, it was. That kick inside 50 obviously just got taken by the wind from West. But a bit more composure from Footscray moving forward. They slowed down the momentum of the game. But Casey just looked to be wanting to go and attack as often as they can at the moment. And why not? You're up and about. Kick 4 straight goals. Utilise a home ground advantage.
Secondary stoppage will be a ball up here. So, as we saw from the boundary throw-in, players that were inside the forward 50 have now come another 50 metres up the ground to create that defensive wall through the centre square. In the meantime, hot footy. And no one emerging from that pack. Tough tackle by Ewan McPherson, younger brother of Gold Coast's Darcy, and of course the son of Steve Super McPherson, champion Bulldog. Ball up then. So many players around the ball. Sweet. Obviously had the ruck set up perfect there. McNeil, quick kick, and it's been intercepted. Potentially coming back with interest from Neville Jetta. Hasn't been a prolific ball winner in the VFL this season. Jetta averaging 20 possessions per game. But let's see if he can use it effectively here as he drives down to the forward pocket. He found his man, and Ellison, even though he had good hands a moment ago, maybe a little unexpected there. And as we see on screen, the throw-in is being set up. Off screen, I can tell you that 4 players are sprinting 50 metres back into the arc because of the unique rule to the VFL that's being trialled this season. And now as soon as the boundary throw-in comes in, they'll sprint 50 metres back into the centre of the circle. In the meantime, step around the corner. It's bending through for 5 in a row. Hot start for the D's. It looked like George Gray. Is it going to count? There's a discussion going on here between goal umpire and field umpire. Of course, no video review at the VFL. The all clear is given and the major counts. And so that is 5 in a row for the Casey Demons, and Footscray, just like the game against the Sydney Swans, they are toying with their unbeaten season and spotting their opponent a big lead. They came back 3 weeks ago. Maybe Casey is a different beast. Ellie, they look really good today.
They do look really good. They're just sort of finding the right spot. They're getting in good positions. And what a goal there by Gray, just around the corner. They tried to call it touched off the boot, but the player that was probably in the position to touch it the most didn't really put his hand up and say, I touched it. So I think they were convinced by the celebrations and paid it a goal. And 5 straight to Casey. They're really on top in this game. They've got so much momentum. It's good for them to start off with.
5 goals, 5 different goal kickers as George Gray adds his name to the list. And it is his 6th goal of the VFL season. So he's another player that's going at a tick under a goal a game so far this campaign. Casey looked to load up again, this one over the head of Van der Heuvel. Ellison chasing it back towards the line, and Buku Kamas won't make a play at the ball. So ticking up towards time on in this first quarter. It has been all Casey Demons as they try to move to 8-1. Of course, the ladder is also affected by the number of games teams have played. So even if they win today, they can't leapfrog Footscray because they've played an extra game and already have 9 wins. Here's Nate Jones. Got one from outside 50 already. And it's the first blemish to the scorecard today as he sends it wide left. Casey 5-1-31. Footscray 1 behind 1 point.
That was disposal number 4 for Nathan Jones today. Some other players up there is Oscar Baker. He's got the 6 along with Ben Kavara. Munro and Hayes both got 5 apiece to start off this game.
It's interesting that Kavara is playing a more defensive role, coming almost out of a back pocket, not even half back today. They're playing him in defence. It's been reflected in the amount of ball that he's had, but As we know, he's normally a goal sneak. Here's a long ball from Gray. He's feeling it after kicking a major a moment ago. It breaks through the hands of Ellison, and he can't conjure it into his grasp. So a couple of behinds in quick succession. And Footscray's transition play is not having a lot of joy here against the full field defence of the Casey Demons.
No, it's not, and it's something they normally pride themselves on is that transition, being able to move the ball from coast to coast and score from it. They just can't sort of find that initial first mark and move it forward from there. It's naturally being kicked to a contest here, and Casey are just setting themselves up really well. They look like they're gelling, their communication's on point. We can hear them quite clearly, obviously with no crowd here, so you're getting lots of feedback from the players, especially on the bench as well. So they just look like they're really connecting out there and utilising it to their advantage more than Footscray is.
And tough tackle here is not going to allow any forward progress for Bailey as he jumps up from the foot of the pack. It's wrapped up by Dan Orgill, playing up out of Collegians. 6th game of the VFL season. Jetta, and now Jones. Almost 460 games of AFL experience right there. And it goes inside forward 50. Ellison's been a bit of a magnet to the ball. He's able to shake free, and Bernardo through number 6. Casey on fire. 6-2-38 to Footscray, a solitary behind. And after a very prominent first quarter as a forward target, Corey Ellison gets a bit of reward, and his 7th goal of the season makes this a 37-point margin.
Geez, it's sort of blowing out a little bit here to start off with. Just great composure again by Casey and just smart football. You know, the sidestep there, we've seen a few of them happening throughout the game, and just weighed up the kick perfectly, was able to adjust it to the wind. Little check side kick, and another goal to Casey. 6 goals, 2 in this game. His first quarter, just to the one behind for Footscray. So a really good start for the Demons.
Ellison, 21 years old, out of Cranbourne, so very much a local here, playing at Casey. Secondary bounce here. I like him. He's a good size. He's clearly athletic because we've seen him come up the ground, and he just knows how to get to the footy. He's been involved in so many contests in this first quarter. He's on the bench at the moment, though, as Bell tries to win this clearance. And the intercept mark is taken and then turned over. Oh, great play by Austin Bradke to come in and chop it off, but not a great kick from Kellett. And so Bradke, high, just inside forward 50. It goes over the head of White. Bulldogs have got the numbers. Ripping it forward is Hayes out towards the boundary, and Ruben William just watches it go over. Not sure how long the quarter will be. There's been the 6 majors, but it has been a fairly free-flowing game in terms of when the ball's in open play, and you wouldn't think ball up after ball up is milking the clock. Boundary throw-in's another story, of course. Here it comes. And yet another ball up will accompany that throw-in. So clean hands out of the contest is at a premium for both sides at the moment. Casey are the ones who've been able to make it work very much so in their favour this quarter. Standing behind the ball here, Austin Hodge, and he's able to get a quick kick to McNeil. The unmissable moustache over on the outer side wing doesn't like what he saw up the boundary line, so he goes back to Hayes. Let's see if Hayes trusts his kicking to go into the corridor. No, he's going to just dink it short. Sullivan, and another kick that's right, just testing the umpire's ability to measure 15 metres in the air, and he's going to be called to play on here. Has to kick to a pack, and this is something Casey have done very well in this first quarter. However, on this occasion, there is a mark from Bedendo to ensure that Footscray will keep possession and try to progress around the outer side wing. That's going to hold up and then just fall straight out of the sky. That one caught the wind very much so, and very well read to be marked as well. Bradke did nicely in the air, and so Casey into the corridor and switching flanks over to the right side. Big fly to spoil, ineffective though. Great shark of the ball, and then the flying shot at goal is out of bounds on the full. Almost thrilling there from Jackson Briggs. It was a spectacular spoil coming over the top there, but not to Footscray's advantage, and Briggs unable to capitalise, driving it back the other way.
Geez, he read that well off the pack, didn't he? Just the perfect and ideal front and centre that you want to get as a player, and unfortunately wasn't able to kick the goal for him, but just really, really good positioning there.
So Footscray again trying to beat this defence of the Casey Demons, which has strangled them and kept them in their defensive half for almost the entirety of this first quarter. It's been a real coaching and effort victory for Casey as far as their strategy goes, having to run to position and maintain their discipline in defence. And now another kick to a contest. And so at ground level, Casey, high tackle. We had a perfect view. And the umpire, the controlling umpire does eventually come in and pay the free kick. Pretty hard to deny there. So getting up to take his kick will be Jay Lockhart. Hasn't played in the AFL since round 13 of last season, so very much been a VFL staple this season. That kick was a letdown. Pedendo rode Lockhart's tackle, and he redeemed himself because the handball went straight to Nate Jones. Now Turner tried to find one solitary D in a sea of Bulldogs, and coming through to take the mark is Austin Hodge, who's started to rack up the ball a bit more as the quarter's gone on. That one wasn't 15, and so Hayes has to play on quickly. Looking for Pedendo again, extended the arms. Ball is effectively spoiled away though. Twisting and turning, Munro just threw it on the boot, hoping for a fortunate bounce. Ruben Williams caught under the hospital ball, and he just ushers it out towards the boundary line. He's got support there in the former Hayes, but good interrupting, defending from the front from Zach Foote, the former Sydney Swan. And 25 and a half minutes in, it will be another boundary throw-in.
Inside 50, number 16 for Casey in this first quarter. They're 10 in front of Footscray, so they're obviously getting plenty of opportunities, and I think that's reflecting on the scoreboard.
Attempted clearance straight out of the ruck, bouncing out towards the boundary line. Well, I suppose the burning question is, how much of this do we put down to the wind and how much of it do we put down to Casey? Because we did see that kick that just stopped almost like it hit an invisible wall and dropped out of the sky. So even though it's not actually particularly windy for us up in the commentary position, it's definitely having an effect down at ground level. West can't take possession. Instead, the D's a quick snap around the corner, and it's going to crawl through for a behind. Corey Stockdale hadn't hit the scoreboard for a goal yet this season, and he will still be waiting as we go to 6-3-39 to Footscray, one behind, 1 point. 26 and a half minutes into the first quarter. And I guess it's a bat first, bat second situation. Maybe we can't make up our mind on this game until the teams flip around and go in the other direction. It might lead to a total change in strategy as well. Right now, though, Casey are going to try and make hay while the sun shines, because McComb's kick has gone out of bounds on the full, and there's not a spare share in there for Turner to take it quickly. So they'll have to go and find a spare ball for him, and that gives Footscray plenty of time to set up in defence.
And I think you're right. I think both teams' game plans and strategies will potentially change in the second quarter based on this wind and advantage that you kind of get going to the right of your screen. So we're seeing Casey now doing those deep kicks inside 50, whereas Footscray are doing the short hit-up lead. So I wonder if it'll change in the second term.
Jetta wanted to go quickly to Jones. You'll look up at a very crowded defensive 50, and again, just the shortest of short kicks, but it is a mark. And Jones gives it back to Jetta. Can he spot a target? Yes, he can. And this could be the first multiple goal kicker of the day as Mitch White holds onto a chest mark. There's some shouting coming from the bench, but it's not clock related. It's due to interchange. And so as he lines up the set shot here with the wind at his back, you suspect he'll make the distance, but a 45-degree angle on the right side for a left footer. He'd be fancying his chances here. White swings out at the last, and he's not going to get the distance in the end. With one bounce, he does through for another point. So Casey are peppering 6-4-40 to Footscray, one behind, 1 point. It is 39 points the difference, and Footscray, the unbeaten VFL team, have it all to do here, just getting to the quarter-time siren.
Again, Footscray coming out of defence here. We'll try and look to another pack kick, so they need a mark to try and slow the momentum down and get the footy back in their terms. They want to hold the footy in their hands as often as possible and try and kill some time on the clock, but also, you know, they need to score. They need to kick a goal. I think it'll help them build some momentum into the remainder of the game.
Well, it has been quite some time since they even went inside attacking 50 here, Footscray. If the D's switch flanks through the defensive 50, that'd be the first time they've gone in for at least 10 minutes, I reckon. Instead, it's a long kick to another pack. Karmas, first hands on the ball, and Footscray able to recover at the fall. McComb hits the boundary line, And now they're going to go backwards. Dangerous kick, but it has been marked. And so even though there was some close checking from White, it's going to be Footscray ball on the half-back flank. Bailey van der Heuvel. And you wonder how important a role he will play as a tall defender as this game goes on. There's a replay. Nothing untoward about it, just a tough contested mark there, and he got a knock in the side, van der Heuvel, on the day of his 23rd birthday. Not the present he wanted. This is McComb trying to evade a tackle. He goes to ground, losing his footing as a result. Players crash in from everywhere. Who's going to extract the ball? Eventually it comes out Footscray's way. They're trying to concede ground in order to keep driving it forward, and wrapped up the D's man there right on the boundary line as we cross over 30 minutes in this first quarter. Can Casey cash in for one more goal before the quarter time siren? And that's going to run over the boundary line. So again, the forwards from Footscray put their heads down and have to run the 50 metres back inside the attacking arc. Boundary umpire will just take his time until he gets the shout that he's okay to throw it in. You can hear the chat even coming through from the outer side. Lots of talk setting up this stoppage here. True wing position. And eventually Footscray are the ones who extract the ball. McComb, decision time for him. He is going to go for distance, hoping for Young. His shot for goal for the first point of the game feels like a very long time ago now. It's been answered by 40 consecutive points from Casey. And how they would have loved a goal into the wind with the benefit of hindsight. Ball goes up again. West able to evade the tacklers and goes into the corridor. Look at the wind. It's affected the kick, sliding the wrong way. This could end up being a disaster for Footscray. It takes a lucky bounce. Bedford unable to claim the ball initially. And now Jetta laying a big tackle. Footscray have still got the numbers there in support. Kellett just threw it on the boot. And it's been intercepted. And so now a kick across the centre square. Baker takes the mark.
He's gotten in some really good positions out on this far wing throughout the game, Baker. He's found himself free despite that kick not going to his intended target. He's finding good space and providing good options for his team. Mitch Wallace now, after the intercept by McComb, gets it inside forward 50. Thoughts of playing on quickly here. Are they going to line up for goal or not? It's going to be the shot for goal. So Footscray desperately need their first major. And Casey haven't kicked a goal since the 21-minute mark. So 11 minutes of defensive resistance here from Footscray means that now they can kick for goal after the quarter-time siren to try and get their first major of the game. Not an easy kick, though. Into the wind. It's going to have to go 48 metres off the boot. And plenty of numbers now back on the line. Here's the kick for goal. It's not even close. It's going to come up 10 metres short. And it means that at quarter time, unbeaten Footscray go in goalless. They have just one behind Casey, 6-4-40. What an impressive opening quarter. Before we go to some of the numbers, AFLW star Ellie Blackburn, your thoughts just generally on the action we've seen? Well, I think early to start off with, I think Footscray's sort of work around the contest was great. They looked dangerous. They looked like they wanted to move the ball quickly and get it inside 50. And they had 6 inside 50s really early on in this game to start off with and looked like they were promising to sort of kick more goals and have more options up forward. But it kind of didn't eventuate for them. And Casey were able to rebound out of 50 every time for them. And then they just turned on the Jets, didn't they? They put the scoreboard pressure on. They managed to kick 6 goals for with sort of no defence there from Footscray, no sort of counteract on the scoreboard there. And they just looked dangerous through the middle of the ground. They took the game on. You know, we saw them sort of take the person on and be like, you know what, I'm going to back myself in here. And that's what happens when momentum comes your way. And they're able to, I guess, utilise a win to their advantage and a really good starting point for Casey. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see how this second term plays out if both teams sort of change their game styles and plans to counteract the win, but I guess time will tell.
So goal kickers in the first quarter, all singles: Jones, White, Baker, DeClace, Ellison and Gray for Casey. Obviously none for Footscray. Disposal leaders out on the ground, just one player in double figures, Will Hayes with 11 touches. McComb has 8, so the two leaders are actually Footscray players. Baker with 7 and a goal. Jones 6 and a goal for the D's. Munro with 6. Kavara 6. Sullivan and West. And then with 5 touches each, Bell, the ruckman, 6 hit-outs as well. DeClace, Jetta, Lockhart. So a very even spread of ball winners in that first quarter. Stay with us here on KO Freebies. It's quarter time, a quick break, and when we return, second quarter action. Casey, 6-4-40, leading Footscray, 1 behind. And you can see the scoreboard there in the background. Footscray may be unbeaten, but they have spotted the Casey Demons a 39-point head start here at Casey Fields. We suspect with a significant wind advantage at their back, but our questions may well be answered here in Ellie Blackburn, AFLW star. The inside 50s count in that first quarter, what did it end up being in favour of the Casey Demons?
So they were 10 in front, Casey. It was 17-7, and as we mentioned, Footscray's first 6 came within the first sort of 10 minutes of the game, and then it was stopped from then on in and didn't get that last one until the last minute of the first quarter. So a really strong start there by Casey with their inside 50 numbers.
So will the strategy significantly change? Looks as though Ben Kavara, who spent the first quarter in defence, is now in the attacking goal square, and Jesse Glass-McCasker there with him. He was also behind the ball as well. So already some positional switches, and let's see if Footscray can turn it on with the wind at their backs. Let's see if Casey can not just provide resistance, but who knows, maybe even go blow for blow with Footscray in this second quarter. They have a huge lead. They're 39 up as we get the second term underway in this battle of second against third on the VFL ladder, and an illegal shepherd in the ruck means that Casey will get that first chance. Nate Jones sending it high. Look at the ball, hold up against the wind. It's going to fall just outside 50, but it's still a mark that's been taken. And so a chance to steady and look inside the arc. Kick to the hot spot. White with a shepherd. And Karmas got first hands on the ball. White trying to get a grubber kick towards goal. McNeil, last line of defence. Stuffy runs into a gang tackle though, 1-on-2. And it's going to be a ball up right near the behind post in the attacking forward pocket for Casey. How they would love to get a goal. The first to the left of screen today. Tap down, Nate Jones, big body there, able to shark the ball, and he's wrapped up in a double tackle straight away. Sullivan and Sweet, both on his case. And so now at the top of the goal square. Little margin for error here for Footscray. Ball goes up, Sweet with the ruck tap, and they're going to concede a behind because it's found its way into the padding of the behind post. So first score of the second quarter, 6-5-41, now plays 1 behind, 1 point. Clean 40-point gap. McNeil on the end of Karmas's kick has done well to take the mark. Let's see if Footscray can get some clean ball movement inside forward 50. Again, just barely the 15 metres to find Josh Kellett, and then he misses the target. Ball against the boundary line, and it's been taken over by Jack Hutchins. So it's not quite what Footscray were after there.
No, it wasn't, but it was a great kick in there by Karmas. Just saw the free space by McNeil, who got himself in a really good position there and was sort of pointing, I've got space here, kick it to my advantage, and that's exactly what was done, and a really good sort of kick there and momentum for them, but couldn't quite get the ball rolling.
Baker, and now Jones, caught in the tackle of Ruben William, and then following in is the man playing his first VFL game of the season, Cooper Craig Peters from Redan, another Ballarat Football League connection. Mentioned Van der Heuvel in the first quarter. So great to see the 19-year-old playing his first VFL game of the campaign. However, it's the old stager, Nathan Jones, who gets the clearance here. And good mark going back at the flight by Ellison. He's trying to move it on at all costs. White, will it sit up to his advantage? It won't. Van der Heuvel just gave it up immediately. Buku Karmas there to help him out. And so a chain of handballs ensues. Bit of a dangerous one through the traffic by Tate Short. They're dicing with danger here, Footscray. And now a partially smothered kick means they're not out of trouble just yet. Wallace head over the ball. Casey able to win possession back. Munro, geez, good at just throwing it on the boot. In traffic, however, on that occasion, it's been marked and a free kick's been given against Sullivan, so it will be a shot for goal, and Mitch White, who kicked 1 in the first quarter, will turn around and shoot for number 2.
It was just a block there, so He didn't have the free run at footy there, Mitch White, to try and defend that footy. I'm not too sure who the Footscray player was that gave it away, but had every intention to do the right thing, but just was a bit obvious, that block there.
White came into today with 9 goals, 8 from set shots. He's shooting at his second goal of the game. And for the second time today, he has judged the breeze to perfection as he curled that inside the right-hand post. Quite similar to his set shot goal in the first quarter. And so it means it's the first goal of the day into the wind. And maybe now we have to start saying that Casey are looking really good. 7-5-47. Footscray is still just the solitary point.
That they have been looking great throughout this game to start off with. They've, I guess, been really smart with their ball movement, and that goal just sneaks in. It skims past the goalpost there. But, yeah, look, they've started off really well again in this second term. I guess Footscray, it's, you know, the way they're trying to move the footy here, it's just not coming off for them. They sort of messed around with it a little bit in their defensive 50 with the handball chain and couldn't quite get a clear player to get it outside 50, so...
This time, clearance is blocked straight into the hands of Nate Jones. He's becoming a bit of a magnet to the ball. However, this time his kick holds up and McNeil is able to take the intercepting mark. Goes to Pedendo, had to pick it up off his bootlaces though, and shuffles it on quickly, and that's going straight out of bounds on the full. Austin Hodge tackled off his kick, and so the defensive pressure from Casey remains top-notch here in the second quarter. And it'll be their ball at true wing position right in front of the interchange gates. Well, that's not the best ball boy work there. Kicked it from over the fence and left it hanging over the fence. No spectators, of course, today to throw the ball back in. Hopefully not too far away from welcoming fans back. Local footy will need it just as much as the VFL. And so it's going to be Bailey Laurie to kick to a pack of players. Bell, the ruckman, made ground. Spoiled by Van der Heuvel over the back. Wallace, good hands. Given away the turnover by Tate Short. And so taking possession, Fraser Rosman sweeps it out to Kaida Clace. 1-on-1. Can he turn on the tricks? He just goes for the quick kick instead. And it's over the head of Drummond. Now coming from behind, Buku Karmas didn't like what he saw. Gives it back to Drummond. Chain of handballs. McComb is there. And he kicks it out to true wing position, going up, one hand on the ball, not able to grab the mark. Glass McCasker, boundary line wins out.
One other element to Casey's game that we probably haven't spoken about much is their pressure around the footy as well has really gone up a notch. I know both teams are competing really hard, but when it goes around the ground as well, Casey are just on their backs as much as possible and causing as many turnovers as possible. So it's a real credit to where they're able to then generate their ball movement from.
Tough in the clinches. Eventually it's Footscray who extract the ball. West with a quick 1-2. Maybe a little bit too hot to handle, but Latham Vandermeer puts his hands on the ball and his foot through it. Kicks it to a 1-on-2. The one had to work, and the D's have got the numbers back behind the ball. Coming through Daniel Turner. Able to get it out to DeClace. He ran underneath it initially, but he goes back in. Just uses his core strength to shrug the tackle and find Nathan Jones. Jones trying to pinpoint a kick to Ellison over the head of Van der Heuvel, and Ellison chasing it out the back. They're still on here, potentially the D's, and then the ball is just tumbling forward. It's got a mind of its own at the moment. Sweet. Just a little shuffled handball, and they are able to clear it away. Just a directionless, hopeful kick, though. And it has been intercept marked and very well played behind the ball. On that occasion, Jack Hutchings making the intercept mark. Averaging just 7 touches a game, but we've seen him a few times already in this one, Hutchins. And now that kick to the wing. Little shuffle on, and it's not coming out of there. West ripped it free, but not before the umpire's whistle insisted that it comes back. There's a shot of the Casey bench at the moment. Not looking too busy on the interchange. 7.5 minutes into this quarter. Obviously, very difficult to make changes when the ball's over on the outer side wing. And the umpire gives holding the ball here because a good tackle has been laid. And so reward for Latham Vandermeer, who is trying to put his stamp on this game here in the second quarter.
That he is. He's stepped up a little bit here, Lath. It's good to see him back and gaining some confidence in his footy as the game goes on.
Almost a mark. Lewis Young able to knock it down. And so now high towards the behind post, and it's going to carry on out of bounds on the full. So Still that one lonely behind is Footscray's score at the moment. But this is key because in the first quarter, Footscray had huge problems getting the ball out of defensive 50, particularly deep. So let's see how they set up their zone here and try to trap the Demons in. Kicking responsibility is with Deacon Smith. He's been on the D's list since being picked in the supplementary draft before the 2020 campaign. And he's able to find a target. Well, juggled mark. Ellison says, give it to me. Boundary umpire has other ideas, saying the juggle went out of play. So we have another look with the picture-in-picture there, thanks to KO. Very tough call, hard up against the boundary line. Bell gets to the front. First hands were Demons, but West comes through for Footscray. And now on the run from the pocket inside forward 50. They've got their first of the afternoon. Footscray are on the board. And it looks like it's Sullivan who's, in fact, it's McComb, I think, who's put it through for the first Bulldog goal of this game. 1-1-7 Footscray. Casey 7-5-47 and Ellie, they desperately needed that.
They did desperately need that. It was a good run on there. It was just a nice delivery, or shot on goal, I should say, on that one there. It was good ball movement. They pressured, and they finally got some reward for a little bit of effort that they're doing. And we'll see if this opens up a bit of a scoring flux for Footscray.
Robbie McComb, 5th goal of the season, and he's been averaging 25 touches a game as one of the leading midfielders for Footscray. So the gap is back to 40 points. 1-1 playing 7-5, but already 10 minutes off the clock here in this second quarter. Sullivan, quick hands, links up with McComb once again, the goal kicker now. High to the forward 50 and going back with the flight. Good grab held onto there. Dan Orgill. Does he have the distance in his legs? He's kicked 1 goal in his 5 VFL games this season. The man from Collegians who's ditched the long mullet and gone for a more humble haircut in the VFL. Little stutter step approach and now goes for distance, which he'll get, but no accuracy whatsoever as it goes out of bounds on the full.
It's amazing what 1 goal can do to a team's confidence instantly after that goal. You just saw the Footscray players sort of stand up a little bit taller and be like, all right, we can do this, we can kick goals here and back themselves in a little bit more. So we'll see if that builds some momentum for him throughout this second term.
Orgill flew for the mark. Munro stayed down, but his handball's been intercepted straight away. Tate short. And now round the corner, Kellett. Intercept mark is coming up, though. And the D's repel once again. Ryan Sparks. Oh, not the greatest kick. It's been hooked out of bounds on the full. And so Footscray will reload and go again. And the steadying mark wasn't a steadier at all. And Ruben William. This would take something pretty special. He's 60 out on the boundary. He's just going to set it up instead, looking for a teammate. D's Flyers are able to bring the ball to ground, and a chain of handballs means they might get away. This one's going to curve and just stay inside the boundary line. Hayes went up, first hands on the ball, short. This time a check side inside forward 50. It's allowed to bounce. 30 out in the hot spot. West round the corner, and does he bring it back? He does. Hooking it inside the post, and it's 2 Bulldogs goals in a row as Riley West snaps truly on his left to make it 2-1-13, trailing 7-5-47.
Yeah, again, another really good front and centre positioning there by Riley West. They've been pushing hard for this second goal here in this last minute, and they got good numbers around the footy there and just read it extremely well off the contest there. Riley West had to get it on the boot quickly because he had pressure coming on from behind from Lockhart. And kicked truly. He's had the 9 disposals in this game so far, Riley West, and now adds 1 goal to that total as well.
And a great look from the camera in the forward pocket as well. So they do score in streaks, Footscray. They did it to North Melbourne. They did it to the Sydney Swans in their 2 most recent games. Are they about to unleash fury here again against Casey? Ball in the middle. Clearance all important. And a big tackle means that no one is going anywhere out of that pack.
And they've had the 7 inside 50s this quarter as well to Casey's 3. So they're looking dangerous and they're getting the ball more more so in the opportunity to score.
West, his clearance and spots up a target. Bedendo can go the distance here. The question is, does he have the confidence? A youngster, just 19 years old, and he's stepped out his run up here. He has 12 goals this season. And now a more deliberate set shot. So he surveyed the options, and now the youngster from Myrtleford is going to go for goal. He catches a pocket of the breeze, and it sails through. 3 in a row for the Footscray team, and now they are believing and making a run as Bedendo kicks truly.
Yeah, they are. That's exactly what they're doing. They're sort of got a bit more belief about them now. It took a bit of time in this second term to gain that confidence there, but we see Riley West. He stepped up a couple of times in the last minute here, and I don't know if that kick was completely deliberate there to Bendo, but he got it to him and went back, and he didn't look completely confident going back and having that set shot there, but when he decided he was going to have the kick, he backed himself in and kicked truly. Got a great bit of gust of wind behind him and kicked it very well.
Pick 55 in the 2020 national draft, and like any young tall forward, definitely going to have to wait his turn to get an AFL opportunity in a top team like the Bulldogs, but Dom Bedendo showing what he can do. And even though Melbourne got the initial kick, it's all Footscray hands here. They don't want to cough it up though. Danger for Hayes, and now Casey looking to capitalise. Not advancing the ball here though, wrapped up in a big tackle. George Gray, one of the goal kickers from the first quarter, and it will be a ball up. Top of Casey's attacking 50. Nathan Jones trying to shark the ball. Eventually made it his own, caught in a tackle, and that was the one where the ball spills, and then he came through and tried to handball it away. The umpire says that is holding the pill, and he's also holding onto the leg of Ewan McPherson here, just to hold him up a little bit, as McPherson will now take his free kick. And I don't want to try and umpire the game from up here, but that didn't look like 15 metres. We'll trust the judgment. And another short kick, this time from Hodge. They're going in very, very small increments here, the Bulldogs. Orgill. Now he will load up and go for distance. And it sailed over the pack. Everyone misread it. Ruben William had it and lost it. And now out of the clinches, Footscray are going to prevail with the ball. Glass McCasker, high ball to a 1-on-2. The one was McNeely. Neely made it work. Able to take it away from Jetta. Now he puts clean hands on it at ground level. Round the corner, Bedendo for 2 in quick succession. He puts it to the near side, and he burned his teammate in the goal square who was calling for the ball there. And Lewis Young says, what about me? But it's just a point. And Footscray 3-2-20, trailing Casey 7-5-47.
And the reason for their short hit-up leads that they're trying to do at the moment, Footscray, that we saw coming out of defensive 50 for him, is because Casey are setting up extremely well down the ground. We can't necessarily see it on the screens, but their setups behind the footy has been really good today.
So now trying to repel and put it back in. McComb good on both sides of his body, and it's knocked away from Glass McCasker. Sullivan at ground level. Casey have got to hold their nerve here, and it's a tackle from Jetta, which the umpire, is he hatching it? No, they're just going to try and let it see if it organically works itself out of there. It's more akin to rugby than footy when that happens, and eventually the umpire calls for a ball up. So Ben Kivara is the danger in a situation like this deep in the Bulldogs forward 50. Can he get himself near the pill here? Good luck anyone getting a clean kick on that. Numbers around the ball and bouncing up to his feet. Jay Lockhart has been a bit of an instigator of the physical stuff today. Again, taking exception to how he was tackled. Umpire quick to put the ball into play. And the bad news is that 4 players now have to sprint 100 metres into the opposite 50-metre arc due to the rule. But I guess if you know the rule, you know that it's going to come with a bit of shuttle running. And now the boundary umpire will get the shout to put the ball back into play as soon as he gets it from over the fence.
It looks good on the GPS numbers when that has to happen, so the sprint back can be a good thing for the player.
So now the ball comes in. McComb immediately smothered off the boot. Attempting to extract a handball. Again, Lockhart, big tackle. Umpire again says ball up. Melbourne, or Casey, I should say, have managed to find an extra 15 metres, and they've found a free kick as well at the bottom of that pack, and Jay Lockhart is the man who now will get the game a bit of breathing room. We hope at least he's going to kick it straight back towards a big pack of players. Ball goes to ground. Handball comes out. Buku Kamas had it in his hands as it goes over the boundary line, out for another throw-in. So Casey holding a 27-point lead as we tick towards time on. Footscray threatened with 3 goals in the space of 4 minutes through the mid-stages of the quarter, but it's now been 5 minutes since the last major, and this is going to be a free kick for not having the necessary numbers inside the defensive arc when the boundary throw-in took place, I suspect. Non-controlling umpire is enforcing this, and because it's a free kick to do with the boundary throw-in, those players have to wait in the arc as this free kick gets taken. So a slightly less crowded forward line for the Bulldogs to try and kick into, and it breaks through the hands of Glass McCasker. Down at ground level, Sullivan on the turn. It's a high up and under, though. Not going to get close enough to the target. It's allowed to bounce in the pocket and eventually seen over the boundary line by Bedendo. So Footscray deep inside forward 50 once again.
They are, and we see those 4 players run back inside 50 again. But, you know, it's such an advantage getting those free kicks paid against you or for you more so. So couldn't quite make the most of that advantage there, Footscray, but they might now.
Chain of handballs, West tumbling ball, Ruben William in the goal square. Can someone soccer it through? Yes! It's Kavara. Who else? The goal sneak. Ben Kavara doing what he does best, and he pops up with the 4th major of the game for Footscray. 4-2-26, trailing Casey 7-5-47.
You called it about 5 minutes ago and said when it's in those situations there where it's dangerous lurking inside the forward 50, Ben Kavara is the one that tends to pop up and look dangerous and kick the goals there, and that's exactly what he's done here. William looked dangerous himself to get in a position, but Kavara, geez, that is very well read off the ball, isn't it? What a great goal there, and a real team morale booster that one is.
So the gap back to 21 points as we tick into time on. First quarter went, I'm testing my memory here, I think 33 minutes. So there still might be plenty of time here for Footscray to keep chipping away at this deficit. Casey, of course, adding a goal of their own in this second term. It might prove all important, holding the lead to half-time here. As we see a big tackle laid by Ewan McPherson, the ball is not coming out. So the game in time on of the second term. Second versus third now, living up to the billing that we've seen both teams have a go with the wind at their back. West, great clearance through Bedendo. Ruben William doesn't want to take clean possession because he's got a man right on his hammer. Lockhart came through. He took the risk, and now the ball is coming out of defence and swinging out towards White. He's left-footed, so that'll suit him to a tee. However, his kick's been intercepted by Kamas. And so Buku Kamas, centre wing position. Getting the shouts from Hayes short, but he's going to go long on his left foot. Casey got the numbers, but it's still got to Bulldog hands. It breaks to the goal square. McComb, good hip and shoulder, and now Jetta comes away for Casey, and they are going to try and repel. Bouncing ball out of defensive 50 to Clace, keeps it moving. And they've got numbers there. Bailey Laurie couldn't handle the ball at the crucial moment, though, so out it goes for a boundary throw-in.
It's a really good exit outside their defensive 50 then, Casey. I think it's a positive result for them having a boundary throw-in up on the wing. They didn't necessarily have numbers back to do that long kick down the line too, so a boundary throw-in was a win for them in that situation.
McComb went without. Tough footy to win in there. No clean possession at Munro. Who else? Baker now. The key prime movers for Casey are stepping up. DeClace will backtrack here and take possession. And now handball around the boundary line. Prodded inside forward 50. And the mark has been taken by Jackson Briggs. He keeps it moving. And pretty tough to take hold of. Munro kept it moving again. This time the little kick, though, shoveled into the arms of Van der Heuvel, who takes the intercepting mark. Deep in defence for Footscray, who are trying to go end to end here. Hayes. Up and under kick. Spoil comes from Lockhart, and to the encouragement of shouts from his teammates in the interchange gate, Jay Lockhart is able to spoil it out for a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, it was a really good effort then by Lockhart. He got called in by his team on the bench to get over there and spoil that footy, and I think it put a bit of extra pep in his step. He got there in good timing and created another boundary throw-in here.
Sweet, that one almost off the chest. It was a bit of a flat boundary throw-in, and now he's ripped off the ball. Nate Jones tried to shrug the tackle, couldn't quite do so effectively. McNeil knocked off his kick. McComb there to help out. McNeil gets a second crack at it, and now moving it to Latham Vandermeer in the corridor. Open forward line, Lewis Young is solo one-on-one inside forward 50, but the ball's not coming because Vandermeer overcooked it. And now the D's are coming back with possession. Bailey Laurie, handball, Munro, now Baker. Those two almost like a tag team working together, but that kick is a letdown, and Oscar Baker drops his head in frustration, knowing that that was a great chance to try and get a goal against the run of play.
Yeah, it was. It was probably a disappointing result there by Casey, but I think the speed and momentum of the game then got to Lake Vandermeer and tried to play on and couldn't quite get it, and it was good pressure on the mark by Jetta to cause that turnover.
And now a ball up 53 metres out from goal. Sweet. Big spike of the ball from the ruck contest. Wallace, it bounced into his path perfectly. Kicks it long, and that is good defending by Hutchins, standing behind the ball to outpoint Young and take the contested mark. And the quick switch of flanks. He's looking over to Tom Freeman. Takes a bounce, and now Freeman. His kick is intercepted. Just didn't look confident on the ball from the minute he marked it. And now Vandermeer at the top of 50. Is he going to back himself to go the distance? A shout of hold came from the bench. We heard it. Not sure Latham Vandermeer heard it, but this is important for him. He's been out of footy since April 23 with a knee injury. It's his first appearance in the VFL this season, coming back to full health, and we'll get a look at his set shot technique right here. Has it got a second wind to make the distance? Yes, it does! It got there in the end. It looked like it was dipping and dipping, but it has found its way over the pack against the line, and it means that Latham Vandermeer gets a goal, 5-2-32, trailing 7-5-47.
I didn't think that was going to sail in the end, but it did, and it was a great result there by Latham Vandermeer. There's really good pressure on the kicker there to cause that turnover. They just set up really well again behind the footy. Footscray this time. And Vandermeer, as we mentioned, got the call from the bench to go back and take his time and have the set shot. You know, you've got the wind behind you here, and we've seen plenty of goals from that 50-metre arc already in this game. And he did that. He kicked truly and sort of tightens up that scoreboard a little bit here.
Vandermeer, who had played 5 games in the AFL this season before his injury, is able to salute here, and now the gap is 15 points. 26 minutes gone. We suspect there'll be at least 4 or 5 minutes to go, if not longer, here in this second quarter. Ball goes up. Wallace had an arm pinned, still able to get it to Sullivan. Sullivan trying to hit up Glass McCasker. Ball is spoiled away, and Hutchins, who is one of those defensive generals down in the back 50 for Casey, is able to find the boundary line here.
And Sweet's ruck work today has been really good. He's winning the tap-outs 33-16 so far throughout this game, and he's just giving really good opportunities to the Footscray on ballers.
Boundary throw in. Sweet right on cue, down to Wallace. It's a 2-on-2, 15 out from goal. Is there a crummer? It's Kavara again, but he's not able to find the magic this time, and I think that's just a good game awareness from Melbourne there to make sure that his man was right with him every step of the way and rush it through for or behind rather than let him soccer it through or throw it on the boot in the blink of an eye as he is prone to do. And so we're going to have a ball up 60 metres out, or are we? Holding the ball, I think, has been the call here for hatching it. And so it means that Toby Bedford has to give up the free kick here, and the tackler is called back to benefit Josh Kellett. And so he'll send it to 30 metres out in front, and that is a good intercept grab taken by Ryan Sparks. So the gap is 14 points. Sparks, who averages 15 touches a game, playing in defence for Casey. Kicks it to a pack here. Is it coming back with interest? Sullivan Sparks trying to follow up, put his head over the ball. Brave stuff, because he had the pack charging towards him there at full speed, and it means it's going to be another ball up. On the arc of 50, Footscray, can they close the gap to single figures? Wallace has really come into his own to the hot spot. It's bouncing, and a shattered ball against Hutchins is given. And so it'll be a shot for goal coming up here. I suspect it's Riley West who's going to emerge with the free kick from the bottom of this pack, and Jack Hutchins will be saying, give me a spell, but unfortunately the free kick for him is going against him.
Yeah, it is. It looked like he probably took on one too many here. I think he fended off a couple of plays as he came through this contest, as we'll see. Broke one tackle, two, and tried to break a third there and couldn't get it done, with Riley West being able to now have a set shot on goal.
Great camera work again, and absolutely no arguments over the decision. Riley West won his own ball and kicks his own goal. Just brought it back in the nick of time to get it inside the left-hand post. And so Footscray, 6-3-39. Trail Casey, 7-5-47. The margin is back now to single figures. It's just 8 points.
He's really been the difference in this quarter, Riley West. He's up to his 11th disposal, kicking his second goal just then. I think his body positioning around the ground has been really good. His pressure's been really good. And he's been involved in some, I think, 3 or so score involvements throughout this quarter. So he's getting his hands on the footy and providing opportunities for Footscray. And as we heard in the first quarter, it was 17-7 for the inside 50s. To start off with, it's now 24-22 in Footscray's favour. So they've really got the ball inside 50 in this quarter.
Now they're going to try and make it a one-kick game if they can strike again. 30 minutes ticked over in the term. Casey looking for a goal against the run of play. Handball to the edge of the forward 50. And that's a great, clever run. Selfless stuff to kick it inboard. Zach Foote will line up for goal. And all the credit there to the hustle of the D's getting it inside forward 50. And now Foote, who's kicked 4 goals this season in the VFL, will line up for goal.
It was great composure there going inside 50. Could have easily blazed that one away, and probably if he was going to the opposite end may have done so, but found the forward in this case.
So deliberate set shot going against the wind, and that one holds up, doesn't make the distance, squeaks over the boundary line out of bounds on the full because it didn't just go short, it went wide. And so Hayes will send it long. Oh, big fly almost for Bell. Bradkey at the fall of the ball. Munro. Casey finding a bit of resistance at the end of the second quarter. They want to preserve their lead into half-time. How they would love to extend it. Big spoil from Karmas coming over the top. And now against the boundary line, Sparks is taken over, and it will be another throw-in. Here's a replay of what was a spectacular attempt. Leaping over his own man there was Jack Bell, not able to grab onto the ball. Now he's got to do the ruck work, but Sweet has had the ball on a string in this second quarter. Handball out in front of Wallace. Those two combining once again to good effect. McComb, and the boundary line wins out. 32 minutes now ticked over. Is there enough time for either team to strike a blow before going into the halftime break? Look at the wind affecting the boundary throw, and it took it about 15 metres, and now no one touched it. That's just all the wind continuing on. Eventually, De Clace puts his hands on the ball. And again, his kick is going to hold up, flying over the back, punched away from Drummond. And the big tackle is laid. It's going to be a boundary throw in though. Line winning out once again. So a few neutral contests deep into time on of the second quarter. This time the ruckman read the throw in well. Munro, big tackle, and tackled a man who hadn't taken clean possession yet, so it will be a Bulldogs free kick for Sullivan. And the ball is going to have to come back 20 metres to find the Bulldogs captain. Footscray with a goal here would close to within 2 points at half-time. Can they find a marking target? Sullivan, just a tumbling ball inside forward 50. And worked out. Lockhart bombs away, but straight to Buku Karmas. He's getting shouts to switch flanks. Bit of a dangerous kick. White was lurking, but Hayes is the player that Footscray won't mind the ball being in the hands of. He is a good kick. He's taking his time here. They don't want the siren to go while they're in possession here. Footscray over the head of Vandermeer, inside forward 50. Kavara shuffled it on quickly, a little bit too quickly. And Casey are first to recover possession. Smother, 50 metres out against the boundary line. And it's just staying in for now. Kavara running on. They keep it moving. Orgill, and eventually over the boundary line for another throw. That'll take us to 34 minutes into the quarter. Got a few dangerous players. Vandermeer, Kavara. Who's going to pop up with possession? Can Casey just hold on to a 2-score lead at the end of the first half? Sweet. And eventually the clearance comes. Knocked off the ball there. Bedford and inside forward 50. Footscray go. Bouncing over the head of McComb. And Lockhart able to find DeClace. And he's off and running. Takes a bounce. And is able to get 35, almost 40 metres, albeit sailing it out of bounds on the full. Although when time is crucial, even the meterage might be enough here. Again, Footscray having to go and get the ball from over the fence. And now they're ready to resume. Hayes plays on, just throws it on the boot. Looks as though Casey got the numbers at the fall. And that's a good, courageous mark. And they'll take their time here over the restart. Lockhart's really come into this game in the second quarter. And the siren accompanies his good defensive work. So a good defensive stand to end the first half from the Casey Demons. Footscray certainly ate into the margin in that second quarter. Don't forget, it did get out to as many as 46 points, though, at half-time. Footscray 6-3-39, trailing the Casey Demons 7-5-47. A marathon 35-minute quarter. And Ellie Blackburn, before we go to the numbers, your thoughts on the game as we just see a little bit of push and shove as the teams try to mosey on over to the players' races for halftime.
Yeah, well, it looked really promising for Casey early on. They got the quick goal going into the breeze to start off with, as we see the umpires still getting involved, trying to break up these two teams as they go into their halftime breaks. Seems they've got them apart now, but yeah, Casey looked like really promising to start off this second quarter, and you know they got the first score on the board and looked really dangerous. They looked up and about, and then Footscray, once they got that first goal, they just sort of stood up a little bit taller, and momentum went their way a fair bit. Thought Riley West was extremely important and pivotal for Footscray throughout that quarter. He got his hands on the footy, got it into some dangerous positions and got some score involvements, kicking 2 goals himself, and really helped lift up his side to get back into this game and their inside 50 count. It's 24-28 in the favour of Footscray. So it just shows how much pressure they put on Casey throughout that quarter. And yeah, it was a good quarter of footy, a good half of footy to start off with. Nice scoring, good momentum, switches both ways. So it'll be an intriguing second half of this game.
The thoughts of AFLW star Ellie Blackburn there. Goal kickers for Casey, 2 for White. Singles for Jones, Baker, DeClace, Ellison and Gray. For Footscray, 2 for Riley West. Singles for Bedendo, Kavara, McComb and Vandermeer. Possession leaders for Casey, Munro, 14 touches, 7 and 7. DeClace, 13 touches. Nathan Jones, 13, 8 kicks and 5 handballs. Baker, 11 touches, 7 and 4. Jetta and Lockhart, 8 each. And for Footscray, Hayes has 18 possessions, 13 kicks and 5 handballs. McComb with 14 to go with his goal, 9 and 5. Sullivan, 11 possessions. West, 11 as well. Ben Kavara, 9 and a goal. Karmas, 9. McNeil, 9. Short, 9. Wallace, 9. So plenty of high possession winners for Footscray. However, the unbeaten VFL team trails at half-time We're off to our halftime break here, but back for what should be a very intriguing second half. Casey will have the wind at their backs in the third quarter. Will they build a match-winning lead? At halftime, it's 7:40. Welcome back to Live Pictures. It's the VFL on KO. And at halftime in this clash between Casey Demons and Footscray, the home team 7-5-47, leading Footscray 6-3-39. A little bit deceptive because Casey did lead by as many as 46 points in the second quarter. AFLW star Ellie Blackburn is here with me, Teo Pellizzeri. And Ellie, we're really looking forward to this second half given the ebb and flow of the first half and, of course, the huge swings in momentum that this game offered up.
Absolutely. It'll be intriguing to see what teams learned from that first half and how they play out the rest of the game. Obviously, Footscray in that first quarter going into the wind probably didn't utilise the footy to the best of their ability. Their kicks, when they kicked them long down the line, got held up really strongly in the wind. And whereas Casey in that first quarter really dominated with the breeze, they used it to every bit of advantage. And again, in the second term, we saw, I guess, the opposite of that. So it'll be interesting to see what will happen in this third term.
Ball up then, and for those of you who've only just joined us during the halftime break, Casey are attacking the right of screen, which has been the scoring end. We've only seen one goal kicked to the left of screen today, and that was by Casey in the second quarter. So anything Footscray can get right here would be a huge advantage as Sweet puts it inside forward 50, and the mark is taken. Turning around and lining up for goal will be Jesse Glass-McCasker, who has kicked 6 goals so far in the VFL this season. Huge opportunity here, Ellie.
It is a huge opportunity to get the first kick here in the second half for them. For Footscray would be really huge for them. Gets them a little bit closer to Casey. And hopefully just creates a bit more of a contest throughout this game, throughout the rest of it.
It would also mean 7 goals in a row for the Footscray team. Oh, it's just a helicopter, and it's falling short in the goal square. Definitely not the connection that Glass-McCasker was hoping for when he put boot to ball, and Turner is the saving mark down on the last line of defence for Casey. They'll come out of defensive 50 then. Van der Heuvel sets himself, but he ran under the ball off the hands of Karmas, and now shoveling it out Macomb. Lewis Young caught in possession by a cluster of demons. Van der Heuvel throws it on his left boot, and it tumbles beyond Latham Vandermeer and out for a boundary throw-in. Just the 2 multiple goal kickers, Mitch White for Casey and Riley West for Footscray. So boundary throw-in right under our commentary position in the main stand. No rucks at all. It just bounces on, and that's a crunching tackle being laid by Dan Orgill, driving his man into the turf. However, Toby Bedford bounces back up and sets himself again. And again, the ruckman aren't even close to that ball up. Munro, just a shoveling handball to get it out. Not to his team's advantage, though. Vandermeer is there for Footscray. Gets it to Ben Kavara. He kicked the goal of the day so far with a spectacular socker out of the air. And now as the ball tumbles inside forward 50, Jetta. Gee, that really hugged the line, but he kept it in at the last. Maybe not what he wanted, though, because he picked out Vandermeer, and now Kellett, who's going to drive it forward, and Jetta is going to intercept and have another go at trying to get the D's out of trouble. Bedford almost turned into trouble as he played on. Bit of a hot potato. Bradkey went without the ball, and now at the bottom of the pack, it's going to be a ball up. Not exactly composed stuff from the D's. A bit surprising because it was one of their old stages. Jetta, who was the man that put his teammates into a bit of heat.
Yeah, it was a bit surprising there from Jetta, but in saying that, though, he's read it well across the halfback flank in these last couple of entries inside 50 for Footscray. The Casey Demons, they're setting up well again behind the footy.
Lewis Young intercepting Nathan Jones's clearing kick. Now Van der Heuvel has got Hayes, who's the leading possession winner on the ground because he's looking to lead Footscray off half-back. It hasn't all gone his way today with his disposal, and that one hugged at the line, but the boundary umpire was in perfect position as Vandermeer clasped his hands around the ball, and that one is going to hug the line as well, and it falls into the grasp of Deacon Smith, and he's able to just shuffle around the man on the mark and find Munro. Now Nate Jones sets sail high and long. White was hoping to make position, but he's been outmarked, and going back with the flight, Lewis Young, who started forward, actually kicked the first behind the game, but he's set up in defensive 50 here for Footscray. Bedendo holding on to a mark. Popped up for a goal in that second term. It's unmissable in those bright yellow boots. Dom Bedendo. And now he's hoping for West, who got up, but he couldn't even climb over his own ruckman suite. Now Munro, and he's been dispossessed by Wallace. Well played by the Footscray team to extract the ball. Bedendo, West went to ground strategically, and he draws a free kick as well. I don't think that was a genuine slip. I think he just knew how to try and get out of that situation. A free kick comes to his aid. And after a bit of byplay with Jeddah on the mark, Riley West. And now he's hoping for West. Tried to prod it towards Ruben William, but intercepted by Oscar Baker instead. Baker, who's been an unused medical sub in 2 of his 3 appearances in the AFL this season. So trying to forge a way back into the senior Demons side. That's a turnover though. West, and now Hayes. The prime movers combining for Footscray. Kellett. Defensive side of the centre square. Heard the shout from Hayes. Yet more stats for him as he racks up the ball. Goes to McComb. And McComb, a guided kick. Carefully putting it into the hands of Sullivan. And again, Sullivan calls to calm things down. Delivery inside forward 50, all important here. Set it up. Set a bit of a task for Kellett there, who wasn't able to drag down the mark. Now McNeil is caught in a tackle and he's holding the ball. And that's well played by White.
Yeah, really good ball movement there by Footscray to get it to that position of the ground. But again, great pressure there by Casey. They're setting up, as we've mentioned a couple of times now, really well behind the footy. So it's making it difficult to get a deep inside 50 entry for Footscray.
Well, the game has looked very different when Casey have been attacking the left of screen, because Footscray do love the short kicks, and Casey have been great at making them eventually kick to a pack of players, which has suited them today. High ball is going to bounce in the goal square. It's right on the line. It collected the post. And so instead of being popped through from point-blank range, it is instead a behind. Casey go to 7-6-48. Now 9 clear of Footscray, 6-3-39. It took us 6 minutes to get the first score of the third quarter. And now Footscray trying to drive it out of defence. This is where they had huge problems in the first quarter. However, a good mark from Drummond here will allow them to set up 55 metres out from the goal they're defending. Drummond only had one man to provide him any hope there in Glass McCasker, and he was outmarked by Lockhart, who's going to switch it backwards into the corridor. Teammates had to talk. Laurie Bailey took the mark and now goes to Jones, who's working hard here. Able to run off his man in Sullivan and pop it out towards the pockets. And getting there in the nick of time for a very nice one-handed grab is Tom Freeman. Pay the mark, and he will turn around 50 metres out on the boundary line into the corridor, and that's an anticlimax after taking that great grab. Nathan Orgill has come in and picked it off.
Yeah, it was a little bit there. Trying to do the right thing, the team thing there, and centering that kick, but unfortunately didn't pay off for Casey in that instance.
And again, Footscray just going to roll the dice on the umpires, saying, yes, it's gone 15 with these little dink kicks just to try and protect possession into the wind, and they've done it well. That one's slightly longer up to Drummond, the former Tiger. Last played in the AFL some time ago, 2017. Ball is spoiled down, and coming out from ground level looked like a high tackle on Cooper Craig Peters, playing his first VFL game of the season from Redan. And then his handball too hot to handle for Ruben William, but Riley West will come through and make it work. And now again, another hospital ball. This time Ewan McPherson couldn't keep it. Baker on his left foot round the corner. The big man, Bell, the ruckman, goes and can't outfox Van der Heuvel, who gives it to Ruben William. He's going for a check side ball in boards. And Drummond ridden into the ground. Umpire says push in the back, and that is a textbook free kick decision. Well umpired there. Round the corner, Drummond, high, long. There's a Bulldog sneaking out the back. Off the hands of Sweets. Snapped round the corner, is immediately touched. And the Demons made sure that they knew McComb's snap-on goal would only be a behind. And as the ball comes in quickly, it is 7-6-48 to 6-4-40. Ball remains in motion, though. Bailey Laurie keeps it moving. Chain of handballs. Now White, left footer, is going to turn it back in board, and not a great kick because Hayes had the sit and is able to take the intercepting mark.
I think they'd be really disappointed with that kick inside 50 then, Casey. It was a really great ball movement pattern that they displayed. They came out quickly from their defensive 50, and they probably should have done more with it because they got the advantage on the far side of the ground and caught Footscray off guard.
The call here is a throw against Lockie Sullivan, so possession coming back to the D's. Corey Stockdale gets the free kick. Now Bailey Laurie, I should say, inside forward 50. Zach Foot, he concedes 15 metres and goes back to Clace. And now a high ball inside forward 50 is going to go out of bounds on the full. And it's going to be Footscray ball. But they'll be happy so far. 9.5 minutes gone in this third quarter. And whether the wind has dropped off or whether it's just their new approach to defending against it, they haven't conceded a major. Almost 10 minutes in, and the quarters have been really long ones today. 33, 35. Maybe if there's a lower scoring quarter, it won't quite glow as long, but certainly boundary throw-ins will cause that time to rack up. And the players will feel like they've done a lot of extra work, given that they've already had an hour and 8 plus another 10, so an hour and 18 minutes of game time, and we're not even halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah, it is a lot of footy to be played, a lot of time out on that football field, but I think the wind's still definitely there. I think Footscray's approach to this quarter has improved. They've obviously had a good discussion about it at half-time and came up with a game style and plan that would be able to be beneficial for them in this third term.
So ball up just outside attacking 50 for Casey. Their last goal was at the 21-minute mark. Sorry, at the 9-minute mark of the second quarter. So they've been waiting a while. Now Footscray able to emerge with possession. Kick to no one in particular. Casey, you've got Hutchins back. He's not able to take possession though. Ducking and weaving and trying to drive it forward there. Good little shimmy handball, and now keeping it moving. Glass McCasker hard up against the boundary line. Centering ball. Ruben Williams sets himself and is able to drag in the mark. He was able to just get a better position there on Fraser Rosman and dragged it in one-handed and held on. And now the set shot is all important because many of the set shots today have come up short attacking the left of screen.
They have, but he's a bit closer to goal than what most have been from down this end, but really well read off the mark there by Ruben Williams.
Got a great camera angle here behind the shot for goal. Set it out right, and it's not coming back. So just a minor score. And Footscray go to 6-5-41. They're now just 7 points behind Casey, who are 7-6-48. Footscray kicked the first behind of the game. Casey have been in front thereafter. And so they've given the responsibility of the kick-in to Neville Jetta. Hasn't played in the AFL since round 10, which was May 22 last year. So more than a year since his last senior game. Nathan Jones dispossessed. West has got 2 today. He's going to hand it off to William here. Chain of handballs right to the goal line, and the free kick is going to be given advantage, and the goal will count. Drummond puts it through, and Footscray have closed to within a point. 7-5-47, trailing Casey 7-6-48.
Bit of indecision there by Jetta when he sort of played on off the mark there, and the handball over the top didn't quite hit Jones, and there was pressure immediately by all Footscray players, and Riley West, really smart there, just took his time, took the advantage, found Ruben Williams over the top, and then again the handball over the top again. Really selfless play by Footscray, and 1 point in it now. What a third term it's been.
Drummond kicking his third goal of the season in his 4th game. His local team listed as Old Melburnians. And of course the former Richmond man. Has been out of the AFL system for 4 years now though. Still making a good go of VFL level. Bell with the clearing kick out of the centre square. Now it's up to Casey to try and get a bit of momentum going. They don't quite have the wind at their backs the way they did in the first quarter. And Footscray have closed to within a solitary point. High tackle here, and Footscray will go again. Kavara, shortest man on the field, and they've grabbed him high. That kick is going to give a bit of work here to Tate Short, and he's not able to pull off the job. So not a turnover, but they've put the ball in a 50-50 situation right down near the forward arc. Not what they wanted. Maybe a little bonus here for Casey as they set up under this boundary throw-in. Glass McCasker is relieving Sweet in the ruck, but he still won the tap. Sullivan, they concede 5 metres. Big smother. Casey trying to keep the ball inside forward 50. Hayes comes through. Now McComb put his head over the ball. Sullivan shuffled it on at all costs. Munro sending it back with interest. It's falling 30 metres out in the corridor. Who's got the clean hands, though? Buku Karmas did well, and he's wrapped up in a tackle by White, who thought better of slamming him into the ground and instead just let go once the umpire's whistle went. And so it will be a ball up 25 metres out from the Casey goal. Slapped back by Bradkey. However, it's all Bulldogs at the fall. Sullivan partially smothered. Ball still got out of defensive 50. Munro trying to send it in again. This one sits up. Bulldogs players are there. They raffle it. No one's going to put first hands and then second hands on the ball. It was a bit of jack in the pack eventually, and it goes to ground for a ball up, and McPherson was the last man with hands on it. Up it goes. Sullivan again, just a magnet to the ball these last few minutes. McComb now. He's caught holding the ball. Good tackle coming in from Toby Bedford. And it will be his kick for goal on an acute angle here. And I imagine with the direction of the wind, this might be the trickiest pocket to line up for goal.
I think it will be one of the trickiest pockets to line up for. It's we'll have to hang it out to the left post a little bit and allow the wind to do its work here. But great pressure there from Casey again. They were pressing hard in these last couple of minutes and finally got the shot on the goal that they've been working so hard for.
Toby Bedford, 7 goals, 9 in the VFL this season. So plenty of shots for goal. Can he be a dead-eye here? Yes, he can. Threads the eye of the needle. That is a great goal from Bedford. And it's 8-6-54 to 7-5-47 as Bedford puts through his first of the afternoon.
It was just a great kick off the boot there from the pocket. It was a tight angle, but he utilised the wind to his advantage as best as possible. As we see the replay here, it was Sullivan just trying to take on one or two too many players there, and Bedford goes back and kicks truly here. He hung it out to the left a little bit, allowed the wind to do its work, and it sailed through for their 8th goal of the day.
Toby Bedford, 2 AFL games last year. We haven't seen him at that level since round 16 of last season, so he's been a fixture in the VFL thereafter. Pick number 75 in the 2018 National Draft and from the Dandenong Stingrays. So this side of town might account for why he was so good judging the breeze there as he put it through. And now Casey with a bit of belief. Nathan Jones bangs it long. Has anyone got a touch on it? It's not going to matter because it's bouncing through for a behind. 8-7-55 plays 7-5-47. So back out to 8 points. Casey were closed to within 1. But crucially, Footscray did not do enough to break the game in their favour. Free kick here for an unrealistic marking attempt. A little bit of an exchange of words off the ball, but it's back live, so everyone focuses in once again. McComb marking with the flight. You can just see him cribbing into the corridor here before he makes his decision on where to go with the kick. He does favour the pocket. William making a run. It's going to break forward, though. Vandermeer off the ground. And on the last line of defence, it's been socked through for a goal. McNeil, all clear. And so on the very last line of defence, Bedford might have been good at one end, but he was outfoxed by McNeil there. And it means the gap is back to just 2 points once again. Footscray, 8-5-53, trailing Casey, 8-7-55.
Just really good work there off the pack of Vandermeer, and smart kick into a really dangerous position here. He almost got it through Bedford, but a nice little pop-up in the bounce there for McNeil and was able to soccer it off the ground. We've seen a couple of those goals throughout the game, and just really smart footy there and really good counter-attack there by Footscray as well. You know, Casey got that quick goal in return after their one, and to get one back as well to keep that scoreboard nice and tight for them. Kicking into this breeze is really beneficial for them.
Fourth goal of the season for McNeil. His last AFL game was on July 17, so only recently out of the side. He's actually bounced up and down between VFL and AFL level after playing the first 11 AFL games of the season consecutively. So his good form will be all important. Ball goes up. And the ruck tap comes down for Lockhart. Mark is held on to by Hayes. Footscray starting to turn the screws here. They can sense the chance to break in front.
Disposal number 25 for Hayes as well.
High ball, and who's at the back? Ruben William is there, and he'll run into an open goal. And so the effects of the breeze on this game have well and truly subsided if the ball is behaving like that. William goes and just says thanks very much to Corey Stockdale. Not sure that was necessary, but it's through for a major. 9-5-59. Footscray in front. Casey 8-7-55. And now Footscray are starting to look really dangerous.
Yeah, as we said there, Will Hayes is up to disposal number 25 and did a great kick outside to a player on their own, and that deep kick inside 50 is what they were struggling in that first quarter and sort of the first 5 or so minutes in this third quarter. They weren't quite getting that deep entry inside 50, and it was landing about that 30 to 50 metre sort of range out, and they were struggling to make the distance on those kicks. But these last couple of entries have gone really deep where they've found themselves running into an open goal. 5
goals for Ruben William this season, the former Brisbane Lion. And now it's all Footscray's way out of the middle. Wallace and Kavara combining with Vandermeer, and no intercept mark. Instead, it's a loose ball. The goal kicker, most recent, William lurking. The ball is cleared out of defence. Footscray have set up their numbers, though, and they are really applying the pressure to Casey here. From the boundary line, Sullivan squares it. Off hands, William first to respond, and now it falls west. Made sure the umpire saw him without it, and it's holding the man. The ball may have ever so briefly gone through his fingers, but as soon as it left his grasp, he made sure that the umpire saw he was being scragged, and he will line up for goal number 3.
That he did, as we see the replay here in the corner. He definitely put the arms up as soon as the player grabbed him and got the free kick. It was holding, I believe, in the end there. But Riley West, he's really come to life in the second and third quarter of this game. He got involved with many score involvements in that second term, and in this third as well, he generated a goal earlier on in the quarter.
So for his third major of the game, West right foot, and he's put it through. He was put on an acute angle as well, but he made a light work of it. 10-5-65, and all of a sudden, Footscray have broken out to their biggest lead of the game, 10 ahead of Casey, 8-7-55 into time on to the third.
Yeah, they've really changed it up here, haven't they, Footscray? They're just backing themselves in a little bit more, willing to take those kicks, and I think their work rate has just upped up a little bit, up the ante with that one, because they're finding themselves with some loose plays in some dangerous positions that are allowing them on that 60 to 70 metre range outside 50 to kind of run in, take their ground and get a deep kick inside 50, whereas previously they were probably marking the ball on the wing and doing a long kick inside 50 where they were marking it around that 40 to 50 metre arc.
West, who hasn't played AFL since June 6, so he's been out of the team for 6 weeks. It'll be 7 by next weekend, but he's putting his hand up today. Kellis, tumbling ball to the edge of 50. Vandermeer making a difference, creating a presence, and it's going to be a ball up. Riley West came in today with 11 goals in 7 games, so definitely knows how to find the big sticks. He's up to 14 for the season now. Ball goes up. Sweet. Back on after having a bit of relief time in the third quarter. Bell caught in possession. Had to be careful. He was nearly in a holding the ball sort of area there. Instead, Nate Jones gets the kick clear. Ellison went through his hands. Has gone quiet since the first quarter, Corey Ellison, but he's making a good run-down tackle here to affect the kick, and it forces the turnover. Baker, and now Casey looking for a response of their own. Sparks, long ball, and it's going to fall, almost taking it foot. He goes for the check side, and he hits the behind post. And he had a man on in the goal square, but instead went for glory. It's out of bounds on the full, and Buku Kama's not wasting any time, finding his way to Lewis Young.
Yeah, foot on that one, had really good body positioning. He found himself in a good spot and then sort of bumped his opposing player out the way, but just couldn't finish the work he had done so well. As we see Lewis Young exit defensive 50 for Footscray.
Ooh, big fly there. Tom Freeman got a bit of a ride, but not actually that close to completing the mark anyway. Ball comes out, and now Footscray are the ones who have possession, short, and it beats Glass McCasker at ground level. Good recovery by Stockdale, and then he had some help from Deacon Smith, and so Nate Jones from the backside of the centre square kicks it long. Buku Kamas coming through. Vandermeer, will it sit up for him? It does. He veers away from one tackle and then goes central. McComb had to backtrack a couple of metres, but able to take the mark. And now he's got Kavara on dead centre of the ground. Ben Kavara, worm-burning pass, and he can't get it beyond Hutchins, who intercepts before Bedendo can make a play at the ball. And he's just going to trust Nathan Jones, called to play on, not 15 metres. Jones to a one-on-one. Looked like a push by Hayes, but he disguised it well enough. And so play continues. Casey got the numbers, though. Foot takes a bounce on the run. It's take two for him, and he's pushed in the back and mown down. So even though he missed the shot, he will get a third opportunity here to kick a goal in the space of about 90 seconds.
That he will, and it was really smart there by Foot. He went to kick it as soon as he got it, but then backed himself in to run and carry with the footy here as we see the replay. Well, the hands up, really smart hands there, and looked to kick it, took the bounce.
You be the umpire?
And then he's pushed him in the back. That is definitely a push there. So as he's kicked it, I think rightly so, that free kick is very deserving.
So Zach Foot has had one into the behind post, one which was affected by the push through for a point. Third time lucky. Hangs it across the face and only through for a behind. So he's had a couple of looks at goal today, the former Swan, but it's 8-8-56, now 9 points behind Footscray, 10-5-65. Feels like this quarter has gone quite quickly, 26 minutes about to tick over. Footscray have made their move. They're in the lead against what was the scoring end in the first half, as there's a smother coming out of defence, and Toby Bedford, who's been prominent at both ends of the ground, gets the credit there for the 1%er forcing this boundary throw-in.
He has been. He's up to 9 disposals for the game and the one goal that we saw earlier on.
So boundary throw-in. Sweet. Able to shake the tackle and extract the ball. Bailey Laurie, Nathan Jones. We've seen him kick one from outside 50 today. His radar is a little bit off here, and he lets an expletive out, which may just have carried to our microphones. But in any case, it's a point for Casey. 8-9-57 to 10-5-65. Casey finishing the quarter strong, but they have to here. If the wind picks back up, Footscray will have it at their backs in the last quarter. Sweet brings the ball to ground from the marking contest. Chain of handballs, and away go the Bulldogs round the wing. Mark taken by Drummond. He popped up for a goal earlier in the term. He's going to take his time here, though.
Had to wait for his teammates to get back down the field. They were all in Casey's front half of the ground.
Bedendo almost took down the mark. Oh, he's been able to strip the ball away. Dom Bedendo from the boundary line. He's going to square it. And McNeil's the man he wants. McNeil's the man he's got. And so he's lining up for his second goal of the quarter after team work there from Dom Bedendo.
Another great centering kick there from Tom Bedendo. And really good body work again by McNeil. He had two players to beat, but he was in the best position the entire time and made sure he kept that to finish off that mark and give himself a set shot on goal.
This would, again, give the Bulldogs their highest lead of the game. McNeil goal at the 18-minute mark of the quarter. Now trying to repeat the magic 10 minutes later, and he drills it. Lockie McNeil has popped up with 2 goals in this third quarter, and Footscray 11-5-71 are out by 14 points. Casey Demons 8-9-57.
Geez, momentum's really going Footscray's way here as we see the replay here. He just kind of snatched it off him, just a little bit of, I'm going to take this footy here, and took the bounce and looked up and saw a teammate in McNeil just in a really good position there, as we see him taking a nice contested mark there against two of the Casey defenders, and went back and didn't kick it high. We've seen those real high kicks sort of get held up in the wind, and sort of drilled it through and extends this lead.
Casey could perhaps use the three-quarter time huddle here to realign just some of the body language and the attitudes here. They're certainly not out of this. Bear in mind, they've only lost one game this season, and that was by 1 point. So both these teams have that winning feeling in 2021. Right now, though, Footscray are the ones trying to preserve an unbeaten record. De Clace has come back on after a spell on the bench. And going forward is Jackson Briggs, but he's going forward and wayward out of bounds on the full. And heads up work from Buku Kamas to quickly retrieve the ball here, but he's not going to get the chance to play on quickly. Instead, a huge pack of players is forming, and Casey are trying to trap the ball down in their attacking half. Up it goes, and good hands. Daniel Turner takes the mark. So is this Casey's chance to get a goal and give them some belief going into the three-quarter time huddle? Turner takes on the man on the mark, but Dendo's done very well to put him off his kick, and it's going straight back from whence it came as Buku Kamas this time takes the mark hard up against the boundary line.
A little bit sore after taking that mark there, Buku Kamas is. Gets up slowly. So we see the replay again here. He's taken it over the line and
just really good hands to one grab it as well with the boundary line right there next to him. Anyway, off the pack, but Dendo puts it out in front of Drummond, and he's able to just slap the ball down, had it in his grasp, but then lost it. Deacon Smith did well to put him off. However, Footscray have wrestled it back, and 30.5 minutes is the journey in the third quarter, one where Footscray made their move, and they lead by 14 points at the final change, 11-5-71 to 8-9-57. They were down 8 points at half-time. However, 2 goals from McNeil and goals for Drummond and West, and also Ruben William, have swung the game in their favour in this last quarter, and it means that they will have potentially the wind at their backs, although I think there's now evidence enough that the scoring end is not as prominent as it was in the first half. Ellie Blackburn, before we go to the numbers, your thoughts on how the third quarter panned out?
Yeah, it was a really interesting quarter that played out that we just witnessed. It was Footscray really started that quarter extremely well and was different to sort of the way they had gone about it in the first quarter. They were actually able to hit the scoreboard and make the most of their opportunities. And then we saw Casey really fight back throughout the quarter. I thought Nathan Jones was, again, really good in that third term there. He's showing some, I guess, leadership and wisdom out on the field for this Demon side. But Footscray throughout the quarter just got more and more composed, and momentum kept swinging their way. I thought, again, Riley West was great throughout the quarter. Ruben William really stood up when need be. I think Jordan Sweet's work in the ruck has been extremely pivotal and giving them first-class use as he's dominating hit-outs, 42-20 we've seen throughout the quarter. So he's doing a great job in giving first-class service to the mids. So
let's go to the goal kickers first at three-quarter time. For Footscray, our new leaders, 3 for Riley West, 2 for McNeil, 1 goal, 1 for Macomb, Bedendo and William, and single goals for Kavara, Drummond and Vandermeer. For the Casey Demons, 2 goals, 1 for White, 1 goal, 3 for Nathan Jones, and then 1 straight for Baker, Bedford, De Clace, Ellison and Gray. Disposal winners for Footscray, 26 touches for Hayes, 19 and 7, 6 marks as well, 21 for Macomb, 13 and 8. 18 touches for West to go with his 3 goals, 17 for Sullivan, 14 for Kavara and Young. For the Casey Demons, 24 touches for Nathan Jones, 17 kicks, 7 handballs, 3 tackles. Munro has 23 as well, 10 and 13. De Clace 17, Baker 14, and then it really drops off. Jeddah and Lockhart 11, and then no other Casey Demons in double-figure possessions. Three-quarter time here at Casey Fields. Back for the final quarter shortly as Footscray trying to protect their unbeaten record. Start of the final quarter here on KO. It's second against third in the VFL, and right now the unbeaten Footscray trying for 10 straight wins. 11-5-71 leading Casey, 8-9-57 at the last change. They were 46 points down, And Casey did kick the first 7 goals of the game. So the three-quarter time huddle, all important. AFLW star Ellie Blackburn. What do Casey do here to now mount a comeback of their own?
Well, I think they just have to take the game on and be really ambitious and brave with their ball movement. And I think a good centre clearance to start off with would have been really handy. But a great tackle there by Riley West on Nathan Jones.
And he's probably edging towards 3 votes in the list and on today's performance, but there is still a crucial quarter to go. Off hands his kick. DeClace takes possession for the D's and puts it into a bit of a tricky spot though. Footscray trapping the ball in their attacking half, and it'll be a ball up. So Casey led 7-5-47 to a solitary point. Footscray didn't kick a goal until the 9-minute mark of the second quarter, but ever since then, whether it was chipping away in the second term or streaming into the lead in the third, they have had the upper hand. And now the scoreboard is on their side as well. Long ball into the forward pocket. Hutchins went for the double-fisted spoil. Baker first to the fall. And so away come the D's. Baker twisting, turning, and sets it out in front of DeClace, who takes the mark. Down deep in the pocket. Kai DeClace. And eventually, after taking a bit of a run-up, he's going to go for distance to a big pack of players. Bailey Laurie unable to take the ball with him, and the umpire says that it will be a ball up after Laurie goes in and lays the tackle. Ball up. Sweet with the ruck tap. Out towards the boundary line. McComb is there. West for company. Back to McComb. Again, he just, whether it's right foot or left foot, he makes such good decisions on when to pull the trigger on a kick. He gets it inside forward 50, and a pack of players forms. It's going to be another ball up. Amazing the variety of the game. Second quarter went 35 minutes. Third quarter went just 26 and a half, Ellie. So all of a sudden, it feels as though time is the enemy for Casey, even though they're only down 14.
You say just 26 and a half after they've played a whopping amount of footy already in this game. So I have no doubt the players will be exhausted and out on their legs there, their last legs there. So if they can run over the top here, Casey, it'll be great for them, but doesn't look promising for them to start off in this final term. And
a holding free kick in the ruck means that Sweet will be lining up his first shot on goal for the game. Jordan Sweet last played in round 11 against the Melbourne senior team, which was May 28 at AFL level. He's kicked 5 goals in his 6 VFL games this campaign. A very deliberate approach. Can he catch the wind? He sets it high to the near side, and it stays left and through for a minor score. 11-6-72, now 15 clear of Melbourne, of Casey, 8-9-57. And Jetta is going to take the kick in. He's able to get an extra 20 metres and send it long. Big fly over the back from Karmas with the spoil. McNeil's not going to take clean possession. Instead, happy to see it over the boundary line. And again, a 100-metre sprint coming up for 4 unlucky players who have to go down inside the arc. If it's your first time watching the VFL on KO this season, there is a rule in the competition that at each boundary throw-in, there must be a minimum of 2 players per team in both 50-metre arcs. So that takes place, and we're away. West has got his own ball here on a string in this second half. Just a tumbler this time inside forward 50, though. And McPherson gets the handball off. Chain of handballs, and McNeil puts it into the path of Kavara, who finishes it off. And Footscray now are looking like winners as Kavara kicks his second of the game, 12-6-78 to 8-9-57.
Again, another great play there by Footscray, finished off by Kavara there as we see this handball chain there. McNeil drawing in the Casey defender there and giving the quick hands to Kavara on his left, who then goes and kicks truly. It was another great build-up there for another great goal. And we saw Riley West at the start of that chain again. He was the one that sort of generated that early movement, and he started off again in this fourth quarter really well. He's been great throughout the game. 21
points the margin, so you'd think they're one more goal away from making it implausible. You never say never in this. But right now, the momentum, given they've kicked 12 of the last 13 goals, squarely going Footscray's way. Brandke. And now Sparks, smothered. McPherson, crucial in the build-up to the last goal. Can he be crucial again here? Sparks making amends, lays a tackle. Not holding the ball, though, de Clace. Up and under handball. McPherson again, made the share on his own. And now round the outer side wing. Footscray looked to build, but diving in and taking the intercept mark. Turner with the chance to steady here. Decision-making has been a bit of a question mark over the D's coming out of their defensive half at times in this game. Just a careful short kick here, and Ryan Sparks from Inverloch Kongwak, his local club, playing his 7th game of the VFL season. Kicks this long around the outer side wing and finds a teammate. Good hands, and Ellison, can he spark back to life? Had a great first quarter, but has not been prominent since. Gets the handball off, de Clace. Just a high up and under, and good spoil from Karmas coming over the back. Down at ground level, Bedford keeps it moving. Rosman, high up and under, left-footed kick. Baker had his own man crash into him. Kavara doing work at both ends of the ground. Gets the handball to Karmas, and I don't think that'll be deliberate. Decision. Oh, it is. Decision time for the umpire, and he says it is deliberate. I wasn't sure if Glass McCasker was just close enough to that one to make it look like he was realistically a chance of getting to the ball. Instead, the kick inside forward 50 leaves a bit to be desired. It just catches a bit of the boundary line, and it's only going to be a throw-in.
Very lucky on that kick. Then it faded towards the boundary more and more. It looked like it was going out on the full, but a throw-in here for Casey is a good thing for them. Obviously, they would have much so preferred to find a target and have a set shot, but this gives them another opportunity.
Sweet has ended up dominating the ruck after quarter time as this game has gone on. McComb, and now chain of handballs, McNeil and West, and they're set free. Runner's got to get out of the way. Mitch Wallace will look up and see a one-on-one inside forward 50, and he puts it right on the bootlaces of the D's man, crashing out of defence, and they've done well there to get the clearance. And there's loose men. Baker takes the mark. And now he goes in board to Nate Jones. Got to give the credit, though, further back up the field to Tom Freeman there, who made that intercept mark in the one-on-one. Never a nice position to be caught in. Ellie one out inside defensive 50 with the ball coming in, but he held his nerve.
Absolutely, he did. And yes, you're right. It is a dangerous position to kind of be in here as we have a look at the replay of Mitch Wallace throwing down his opposition player in Sparks on the ground.
Karmas switching to the outer side flank, and the mark is taken by Austin Hodge. Keeps it moving. Ruben William popped up for a goal in that third quarter this time. He's smothered off the boot by de Clace, who made ground to get there and put it over the line. And he's done a power of running. He's a good size, Kai de Clace. He's a mature age recruit, 24 years old, was picked up in the mid-season draft halfway through 2020. He's yet to appear at AFL level. He was playing for Montmorency some years ago in his younger days, so definitely not a system guy, but he's a good story. An even better story would be if the D's can mount a comeback at the moment, but so far Footscray have had all the answers and they continue to hold a 21-point lead. Down this time, Bedford gets the clearance hurriedly away, and the mark's been taken by Smith. 2 goals in the first half. They'd love him to get on the end of this passage of play, but the ball's moving a bit too quickly for that, too quickly for some or all of the D's forwards really. And so out of defensive 50, Drummond's working hard and taking on the tackler here. And it's a fend-off free kick against Foot. And so it will be a Footscray ball. It's probably either going to be holding the ball or a high fend, and that's the decision. Is it 50? Sounds like it. I think the non-controlling umpire here has blown up Jay Lockhart for whatever he was saying to him, some 15 metres away from the ball. So they've been stung an extra 50 metres here, and Latham Vandermeer will use that distance to go into the forward pocket, and Jetta outpoints his man and is able to take the mark against Glass McCasker.
Yeah, it looked like he was just, I think, still talking, and I don't think the umpire appreciated what he was saying there, but a really good mark in defensive 50 there by Jetta as he finds his teammate.
Sparks now, top of defensive 50. Again, barely 15 metres, but the whistle does go for Baker. He's going to turn onto his right. So you can see he's good on both sides of his body, Oscar Baker. Pack of players forms. Footscray get first possession. Tate Short was ripped off it though, and now at the base of the pack. Tackle is being made by Sullivan, and he's rewarded for it because Rosman dived onto the ball, and even though he got rolled up, he's still been pinged holding the ball. And so Lockie Sullivan comes up with the free kick. 10 minutes now into the last quarter. Footscray trying to go to 10 and zip. It won't take them top of the ladder because Southport have played a couple of extra games. And again, if you haven't heard today, there's been chaos in Queensland with a snap lockdown announced this afternoon. And it means that the game between Gold Coast and Southport was actually abandoned 10 minutes into the first quarter. Here's McNeil, good at ground level, gets it to Bedendo, he steadies, he runs to the top of the goal square, and he misses. And that should have been the sealer for Footscray.
That should have been the sealer for Footscray. He just kicked it a bit too hard there, and it didn't come off nicely off the boot. But again, another opportunity gone begging there for Footscray, but they're in a good position that they can afford to miss a couple here and there.
You can just see from the picture-in-picture, he didn't take it cleanly the first time. He dropped it, had to get it back off one bounce. And I think that just meant that the defender got that little bit closer to him and forced him to veer rather than what could have been running into a shot from 5 metres further out, but under far less pressure. Ball is spoiled and goes out instead. Safe to say, Ellie, we haven't in 11 and a half minutes seen the evidence that Casey are going to turn this game to the extent that they kick 4 unanswered goals. They really would have to find a bit of a surprise from somewhere now.
Absolutely, and don't get me wrong, they've definitely tried different things. You've seen, I think, from Oscar Baker a fair bit, trying to come inboard and utilise the middle of the ground, whereas previously going to the left of the screens, we've seen them utilise the boundary a little bit more. So they're willing to take those risks. It just hasn't quite come off for them.
Ball in dispute once again. Munro. It's the traction engine doing the hard stuff in and under, and eventually the ball is extracted. Play on called, though. It was touched, and so DeClace is slung by William. Play continues. Bedford now, and Lockhart, he gives it up, though. Sullivan took it away for Footscray. Couldn't quite find a teammate cleanly with the handball, but Vandermeer used his strength to get it to work, and now it's a high ball from Drummond, falling in a 1-on-2 at the top of the 50-metre arc. Bedendo overran the ball. Still, though, they keep working. Cooper Peters got the handball off, and now Kavara on his left. That is the sealer. Ben Kavara has popped up with 2 last quarter goals, and that one left-footed from 40 metres, beautifully taken. 13-7-85. Casey 8-9-57, and the Bulldogs are looking good to go 10 and zip.
He gets himself in a really good position, Ben Kavara. He's just a really dangerous player. His teammates have definitely helped him out a couple of times, and he's always running towards goal and looks so dangerous every time he's moving there. He's had the 17 disposals today and now 3 goals to his name. He's made a real game of it in this, especially in this final term, and looked dangerous throughout.
Ben Kavara, his only AFL game this season was round 5 back on the 17th of April when he was subbed on as the medical sub. So he's been out of the picture for some months now, but another excellent performance today. And I tell you what, if you're a Bulldogs fan, you're probably watching the seniors, but if you've got this open on your phone while you watch the seniors on the telly, you got some good news coming from the twos at the moment. Ruben William trying to put some pressure on, and now William, chain of handballs, and Latham Vandermeer inside forward 50. It's going to fall. Almost fell into the hands of Glass McCasker. There's a couple of free Bulldogs in the goal square, and one of them is McNeil, who pops through his third of the game. And if it wasn't safe already, it definitely is now. 14-7-91 to 8-9-57.
Yeah, great work again there by Footscray. This kick inside 50s to another dangerous spot there as we see it coming in, and almost took the mark on the ground there, but Mitch Wallace breaking the lines, and I think Ben Kavara was quietly calling for it being...
He wanted his fourth.
He did want his fourth, but McNeil rightly so deserved that goal, and really good work there again by Footscray. Just taking the game on and giving themselves opportunities. I like their entries inside 50, particularly in this second half. They've gone a bit deeper, which has allowed them the opportunity to sort of give themselves a better percentage of kicking the goal, and that's what we've seen.
Well, it's 6 unanswered goals, and amazingly, it's 14 of the last 15 goals. They were down by 46. There's a chance we're going to see a 100-point swing contained within this game. Kavara inside forward 50. It's one-way traffic at the moment. The resistance has been broken. Can Casey here through Hutchins stand tall in defence? Yes, they can. Baker, he hasn't given up the ghost on this contest, but there's a fumble there by Stockdale, and it will be a throw-in.
Some of the numbers, Will Hayes is up to disposal number 27 for Footscray, and for Casey, Nathan Jones is leading the way on 26, with Munro not too far behind him on 24.
Throw in, ruck tap, West, Vandermeer, and the ball hasn't totally stopped, and eventually it's holding the ball against Latham Vandermeer for perhaps trying to break the tackle. He asks the question of the umpire, but Ruben William is busy making an interception. West, and that looked like a high scrag, and indeed it is. Just a thought, actually we'll stay with play here because De Clace is out into open space, and maybe there'll be a few more gaps to exploit now as players really fatigue. De Clace isn't one of them. 4 bounces quickly around the wing. The kick wasn't able to match the endeavour though, and it is Van der Heuvel, who would have been hoping for a win on his 23rd birthday today. It looks as though his team is going to salute. Ball in the middle of the ground. And moving on quickly out in front of Bedendo. He's still full of running. They've all got the feeling now, the Footscray team, because Glass McCasker will turn around and line up for goal 35 metres out, almost directly in front.
Really good play there by Bedendo. He, again, stayed composed when he got the footy in his hands. It bounced up nicely for him and just exploded his first couple of steps, and forward leading at him. That was a great lead. Gives himself a shot on goal here.
Amazingly, this is to make the margin 40 points, and that would represent an 86-point swing, given they were down by 46 in the second quarter. Here comes the kick for goal then from Jesse Glass McCasker. Goal umpire's got to work, but not too much, because it goes over the hat for another major. And Footscray are piling on the pain in the final quarter. They're up by 40, 15-7-97 to Casey 8-9-57.
It really has been an impressive sort of 3 quarters for Footscray. Well, 2 quarters, I should say, more than anything. They did a really good job in that third term. Obviously, they came back in the second, but in the third term, to kick into the breeze a fair bit and find the lead, and then to pile on the goals again in this fourth term. What a turnaround! What did we say? 86-point turnaround. That's incredible, and that's something they'll be extremely proud of come the end of this game.
Jesse Glass McCasker, who was last on Carlton's list in 2018, but never cracked it for a senior game. He kicks his 7th goal of the season, and it is just one-way traffic out of the centre clearances at the moment. Footscray with another chance here. Bedendo, quick handball off. West high around the corner. It's going to fall in a pack of players. Who's going to get the quick read? Ooh, high contact. It looked like on Munro. Play continues. Nothing too untoward about it. Lockhart finds his way to Smith. Nathan Jones just cruising, got the handball off in the nick of time. Bailey Laurie, this is nice from Casey. Can they finish it with a goal? Rosman finished the move, left-footed, sweeping ball, and he's hooked it all the way out of bounds on the full.
Probably wasn't the best kick then by Rosman. He had a play leading up at the ground at him. Probably would have been the safer option, especially knowing that kicks going down this end of the ground have tended to fade it to the right, and that's exactly what it did then.
Kick in is going to be intercept marked. Turner played on but didn't have a plan, and he gets caught by the man on the mark holding the ball, and Footscray come away with possession. Ruben William, he's got Kavara lurking inside forward 50. He's forced to double back though, and now just chips it short. Glass McCasker, he'll be riding high, having just kicked a goal. So he pops back up. Kavara leads into the pocket. Kavara's there. He's just got such a good nose for goal and forward 50 craft, especially at this VFL level. And Ben Kavara will turn around and, you suspect, will be lining up for goal number 4.
He will be Ben Kavara, and you're right, he does have a great nose for goal. He loves getting on the end of him. He loves the goal celebration, as we've seen for his 3 previous goals. And this one's a bit of a tricky angle to come in on, so I'm intrigued to see how he approaches this kick and if he can get it through the big sticks.
So from the boundary line, he'll have to go a good 40 metres. It's going to fall next to the goalpost. And is that a mark to McPherson? It looked as though he dragged it in. He's saying, pay me the grab. And the umpire is saying, I'm going to have a conference here with the goal umpire. It looked like he marked it cleanly from up here. And they are going to pay the mark on a very tight angle. Got our camera in the perfect position today. Credit to Sportscast Australia, our broadcast crew, for KO this afternoon, putting that camera down in the pocket, because we've got a great angle here of Ewan McPherson trying to kick his third goal of the season. Can the son of Super produce something super? No, he can't. Through for a behind.
He didn't look very confident on that angle there, as we saw. Didn't really know if he wanted to pass it off or have the shot, and I think in the end decided to have the shot as we have a look at Ben Cavara's kick in. And the mark there on the goal line. I'd pay that.
So, kick in is taken. Casey again trying to break and go full field end-to-end. George Gray popped up with a goal in the first quarter, but hasn't been overly prominent since. Ball will go out. How do you think Casey will respond to this? Their previous loss and only loss to this point was by 1 point. So they've been shown up in the second half today. How do you think they'll respond?
Obviously, they'll be disappointed with the way the second half has panned out, but I think they'll also be able to take a lot of positives away, especially from their first quarter, the way they got momentum going their way and started off the game really strongly. And in saying that, they haven't played poorly throughout the game. It's just that Footscray's made the most of their opportunities and given themselves better looks going inside 50. So I think moving forward, they'll be able to take plenty of learnings from it. And a lot of positives too. It just hasn't fallen their way today.
And as is the case, if their AFL teams go deep in September, it's generally the result of good health and good depth. And so there's every chance that these two may well be meeting come finals time, whether it's prelim or grand final day in the VFL. That probably depends on a team like Southport and the others in the top 8, but you suspect this may not be the last time they square off this year.
Yeah, I can't imagine it being the last time. They'll have every chance. They'll play against each other come finals times, and I've no doubt it'll be a ripping contest when it comes to it.
Nate Jones with the kick away to the edge of 50. The fly from over the back. Zach Foot couldn't grab it down. Smith keeps it moving. Bulldogs going back with the flight, though. First to respond. And now the long kick is McPherson. He'll get the free kick for front-on contact by Baker. He's got runners breaking on the grandstand side. Umpire's going to give him 50 metres. I think much of a muchness as to what might have been preferable there, because Hayes was away. Is this going to take him within goal-scoring range? Maybe in the second quarter when the wind was at its most fearsome. Will he get the journey here, Ellie?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. It is blowing a little bit, but as we said, it hasn't been as prominent as what it was in the second term or in the first half as a whole. He's got a very big run up here, so we'll see how he goes.
McPherson missed from right next to the behind post a moment ago. Now he goes from inside the centre square. This one won't have the legs. Casey trying to rush it through. They haven't done a good job of it. It's been put through for a goal. And this time it is a different goal sneak. It's Cooper Craig Peters kicking a goal in his first VFL appearance. And the man from Redan, the 19-year-old, puts it through for a major.
That was great play then by Craig Peters. Right on the goal line. Could have potentially kicked it with the first step that he took, but sort of teased the opponent and put it through truly. It was well read again off the boot. The small forwards of Footscray have looked extremely dangerous around the goal. As we have a look at the replay here, ambitious shot from inside the goal square, but as it comes in again, it's just well read off the boot and kicks it truly.
And the entire Footscray team ran down to the goal square to congratulate him. So clearly very enthused. And you saw him get a nice little high five as he ran to the bench as well. Cooper Craig Peters puts through a major in his first VFL game. And another Ballarat connection for the Bulldogs coming good. It's 16-8-104 to 8-9-57. 24 and a half minutes gone in this final quarter. You wouldn't think we'd go too long. Certainly hasn't been as boundary throw-in heavy as some of the longer quarters we had in the first half. I think Casey would love the siren to sound because their percentage, I think they came in today in the 190s. They're going to lose a significant chunk of that today. I'll ask you for your Liston votes, please, Ellie. Your 3, 2 and 1, because it would have been nigh on impossible to give them at any point during the first 3 quarters, given the ebb and flow. But now that we have a clear winner, who do you like for the 3, 2 and 1? I'll let you think about it for a moment as Casey are in possession here, and the mark is taken by White, and he goes wide to Baker. Does he back himself? Yes, he does, but he can't shrug the tackle. And so the ball bends away from goal. It almost suited to Clace. It's a big spoil out of defensive 50, and the tackle laid by Wallace for a ball up. So right at the edge of the centre square. Up it goes. Casey looking for a consolation here at the end of the game. Bailey Laurie into the pocket, and Buku Kamas rises above Ellison to take a very good mark. He'll switch flanks quickly. Hayes is there. 26 minutes now ticked over in the last quarter. Glass McCasker spoiled by Turner. 1-on-2. Glass McCasker held them up long enough to get the ball to spill for Kellett. And now Kellett to West. And again, he just does the little slip slide to evade the tackle of his man. He's done it well. Kavara into the corridor, knew that that's where McComb was running. It's free-flowing stuff now, certainly not as congested and hard-fought in terms of collisions that it was in the first quarter. Now the runners are getting to show what they can do, but that's a good intercept mark down on the last line of defence by Sparks. And he goes into the corridor and finds Munro. Back to Sparks. Too hot to handle, though. Footscray players are there to capitalise. Bedendo heard the shout from his teammate Sullivan. McComb, can he throw it on his boot? He's tripped. No free kick. He still gets the snap away, but he can't bring it back through for a behind. 16-9-105 to 8-9-57. It's 8 goals the difference. Ellie Blackburn, I've given you some think time. You're 3-2-1.
Have to go with Riley West. I think his game throughout has been extremely promising and definitely helped Footscray get some runs on the board and build momentum going their way. Thought Will Hayes' game across the halfback flank has been great. He's provided so much run and carry and generated a lot of ball movement and transition work across the halfback flank. And then for the 1, I'm torn between Nathan Jones and Ben Kavara. I think both have played extremely well games. Nathan Jones throughout, he's managed to kick 1 goal 3 and had the 27 disposals and has been really good for Casey. And the Ben Kavara, he's had 21 and the 3 goals as well. So both have played great games.
Can I slip in a little nomination for Jordan Sweet? I reckon he's been very impressive as well.
He has. His ruck work's been extremely beneficial for the mids, but with the 7 disposals he's had to his name, I don't know if it get you on the board, unfortunately. They don't look at that stuff as much.
Oh, you're the expert, so we'll trust your 3-2-1. And now ball inside forward 50 for Casey. This could be the late consolation. Ellison takes the mark. He's got some teammates on and plenty of free running loose players. George Gray is one of them. And the Beau Morris man can go back and put through what would be his second. Deep in time on, it's hard to believe when he goaled at the 17-minute mark of the first quarter. It was 5 straight goals to a solitary point. And now, as he lines up for his second, the game is well and truly gone. If nothing else, this would break a run of 8 consecutive Bulldog goals. George Gray, 20 metres out, almost directly in front, makes no mistake. And so it is a late consolation for the Casey Demons as they go to 9-9-63, trailing Footscray 16-9-105.
It is really smart play there, again, just to centre that kick. You had the option of 3 players to pick from. They were all sort of running into goal and managed to go back and kick truly. It's amazing the way this game has panned out here, and Gray being able to kick a late goal for Casey.
So George Gray, 7 goals now for the VFL season. Ball back to the middle, and it is now just playing out time and sorting out percentage. Casey will fall to 7-2 as a result of this. Footscray 10 consecutive wins to continue their unbeaten start to the season at the base of the pack. It's going to be a secondary bounce there as eventually McComb gets back up and returns the ball to the umpire. "30 minutes ticked over in the last then. Casey maybe looking for another one, but stopped in their path this time by Hayes, bouncing towards Sullivan. McComb lays the tackle. He's got Wallace for company, Sullivan to West, all the prime movers in there for Footscray, and they extract it to McPherson. He's been hunting his first goal of the day, and this time he gets it. No, touched. So it won't be a major, and his search continues. Goal assist and 2 behinds in this last quarter instead for Ewan McPherson. 16-10, 106, plays 9-9-63. And the kick-in being taken by Tom Freeman. Mark taken by Rosman. Puts it on his left boot. Rosman, he's, again, a couple of runners out the back. So the defensive checking has slipped a bit in the last couple of minutes for Footscray. Smith goes long, and the mark is taken. White, I should say, who went long, and the mark has been taken. Back with the flight. And this is going to end up being 3 for the day for Gray if he's good with the snap, which he is. So he's been able to pad his stats with the last 2 goals of the game. 10-9-69, Casey trailing Footscray 16-10, 106, 3 for the day for George Gray.
Certainly, that's disposal number 5, and 3 goals with those 5 disposals isn't too bad at all. That's, I guess, making the most of your opportunities when it comes your way. It was a great kick inside 50 there and a really good mark, and just smart to play on, and in hope to add another goal potentially to Casey's scoreline in these dying moments of the game.
So as the ball comes back to the middle, they've managed to pull back the deficit a little bit, Casey, but still down by 37 points. Sweet gets the tap. McComb, left-footed clearance to the edge of 50. Bedendo against the much shorter Jetta. Goes to ground level, and McPherson's trying to extract it out of there for Footscray. Can't do so. It will be a ball up on the 50-metre arc. Sweet against Bell. This time Munro first to the ball. It's not coming out of there, though. Swept straight back under the pack. And the ruckman go to work once again. This time Nate Jones clearing kick. High to centre wing. Interception made by Hayes. Out to McNeil. He hasn't stopped working. On the half-forward flank, just shoveled on. Sullivan back to Hayes. And there's the siren. It's a perfect 10 wins in a row for Footscray. Would you believe they were 46 points down in this game? They have run out winners by 37, and their winning streak continues with another massive comeback and then a show of strength. 16-10, 106 to Casey, 10-9-69. Footscray get the win. Ellie Blackburn, your thoughts before we get to some of the key numbers?
Yeah, it ended up being a really interesting game in the end. As we said, that Casey got off to a great lead to start off this game, and they looked extremely dangerous. Their ball movement was wonderful. You know, they were backing themselves in. They took the game on at every opportunity. And then to start the second, they got the first goal there, which extended their lead out to the 46. And from then on in, it's been Footscray. They sort of counteracted what Casey were doing. They got some runs on the board and slowly ticked away at the scoreboard, and then just kind of put the foot down and made sure they had a really dominant win in the end. I thought a great effort to Riley West, Ben Kavara, Lockie McNeil did a really good job, and down back, Buku Karmas, I thought he played a really good game across the half-back flank for Footscray, and as we've mentioned, Jordan Sweet in the ruck. I think honourable mentions, James Munro played a really good game in the midfield for Casey, along with Nathan Jones. Oscar Baker out in the wing did some really good things, as we saw throughout the game, and great to finish with the 3 goals as well.
So let's go to the numbers. Thank you to AFLW star Ellie Blackburn for full-time thoughts on the game. Ben Cavara and Lockie McNeil, along with Riley West, all kicked 3 goals straight for Footscray, and then 1 goal 2 for Pedendo, 1 goal 2 for McComb, 1-1 for Ruben William, and then 1 straight for Cooper Craig Peters in his first VFL appearance. Drummond, Glass McCasker, and Vandermeer all kicked singles. For the Casey Demons, 3 straight for George Gray, 2 goals for Mitch White, 2 goals 1 goal 3 for Nathan Jones, and then 1 straight for Baker, Bedford, DeClace, and Ellison. All of those goals came, I believe, in the 3 of those 4 came in the first quarter. Leading disposal winners: Hayes, 31 touches, 23 kicks, and 8 handballs. McComb, 28 touches, 18 and 10. West, 27 touches, 16 and 11. 23 possessions for Sullivan, 21 and 3 goals for Cavara, 18 for Karmas, along with 7 marks. McNeil with 18, Bedendo 16, Vandermeer and Wallace 15 possessions each. And for the Casey Demons, Nathan Jones, 28 touches, 20 kicks, 8 handballs, 3 tackles. DeClace, 27 possessions in the end, 16 and 11. Munro had 27 touches, 10 and 17. And then 20 for Baker, 16 for Lockhart, 14 for Bedford, 13 for Jetta and Turner. Ellie Blackburn, I'll give you the last word on what was a very entertaining game.
It was a very entertaining game in the end, and I have no doubt these two teams will see each other come finals times, and I'm looking forward to that contest. I think both teams played an exceptional game of footy today, and it was great to see, from my end, Footscray come out winners and remain undefeated for the season. Well,
big thanks to AFLW star Ellie Blackburn. On behalf of our broadcast crew, Today's Sportscast Australia, and our broadcaster KO Sports, my name is Teo Pellizzeri. Thank you for your company on the VFL. That's it. From Casey Fields, we leave you with Footscray, a 37-point winner.